Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados live here on Thinking Critical YouTube. Your Saturday morning delight is back. The best friends are here to talk about all things comic books and dork, and we've got some great peoples in the chat already. AL's there, General Ballsack, Jamal Simmons. Welcome to the party. We're going to have a good time. I'm feeling very optimistic and great today because we do have the human ballbag himself, Mr. Gabe Hernandez. Us, Gabe. What's going on, buddy? You look very, very zoned in on something.
No, I was just adjusting my microphone, make sure it came through okay. Can you hear me all right? Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you for having me.
Candy Crush or something.
No, I would never do that to you. Thank you for having me. I mean, I think it was on about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Speaking of vacations, I just got back from a vacation in upstate New York. It was very nice. Got to see some relatives, so we had a good time. It's a long drive, but other than that, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be talking about comics. Glad to be in the company of such esteemed gentlemen, even though Dylan looks like he just woke up from a nap. And then we're going to talk about all things that are happening this weekend. There's a lot to talk about.
It's 7 a.m.
Like the little crease from the blanket on his face.
7 a.m. Brother,
Yes.
I get up like at between 5 and 6 on the daily. Come on, you gotta.
Yeah,
That's
The
awesome.
day's half over by 7.
Aaron
It's
Sparrow doesn't
Saturday
sleep.
and it's 7 a.m. And you're like, wow, you look like you just woke up. I wonder why, Sherlock Holmes. We'll never know.
Don't need Columbo to solve this particular mystery.
I'm on the East Coast. I wake up, I turn on Twitter, and I said, "There's Aaron Sparrow. He's still at it, fighting with someone. I love it." But it's like, dude, don't you ever go to sleep? He's like,
I don't think
"No."
Aaron sleeps. I genuinely do not think he sleeps.
He's
I,
Batman.
I sleep in like 4-hour blocks, like 2 4-hour blocks is how I sleep. So
Oh shit!
Well, now that
Gabe,
Chuck
did you get to
Norris
see
is
like
dead.
Niagara Falls or something? What's in upstate New York?
No. We there's family up there near the Finger Lakes, kind of in that region, but more like in the Rochester area. We had some nieces, and we had one niece and one nephew who were graduating from high school. So it was like a family get together kind of trip. Not a lot of sightseeing, just a lot of family get togethers, eating, and typical chaos.
Very nice. Did you take some comic books with you, hand them out to the kids, try to find that new next generation of readers?
Look, let me tell you, the family that resides in that part of the country, that lives in that upstate region, is all about the TikToks. They're all about the social medias and the Instagrams. And I try to talk a little bit about comics, but it's sort of like just right over their head. And that's not to say I'm giving up on them, but that's a much tougher sell that I could that I could manage in the short time period that we were up there.
Yeah, we've implemented a no TV or social media like internet access thing during the weeks now because the
Smart.
kids were just getting a little bit too into it. But
Very smart.
gotta
smart.
set the boundaries. Dylan, it seems like are you having a terrible weekend? Or are you just grumpy?
What do you mean?
Hey, you got all sassy on Gabe, and I understand he's a ball bag, but
Because
true.
he's like he's making some like comment about it. Looks like he just woke up. It's like, wow.
My generation.
Is
Did
the,
just
is
my
the-
generation.
is the sky blue? Like it's 7 a.m. on Saturday. Of course I look like I just woke up because I did.
I feel like you could be a little bit more responsible. I don't know.
Kids today.
listen, I also just rolled out of bed to be on this show. Okay, so like, give Dylan crap. Like, we're on the West Coast, man.
Yeah. Well, also I want to. If we can rewind a couple minutes, Doc just randomly was like, Chuck Norris is dead, and then like got cut off, and I want to know where he was going with that. I was very confused. He just randomly like pointed out that Chuck Norris is dead, and then we never got any further with that. And I think he's gone now because he's muted. But
He's in Flavor Country.
Oh yeah, he's choking down a Camel non-filtered right now.
Very nice.
We'll try to get back to the Chuck Norris story. I thought we knew that he was dead.
I think it had something to do with the fact that I don't sleep, I wait. And so, like, I think Doc was maybe like, if I had to guess, I would say Doc was saying Chuck Norris is dead, and I had to take up the banner.
Oh, Chuck Norris.
So
didn't
everybody
die.
went on vacation.
Yeah.
Gabe went to upstate New York.
Mhm.
Sparrow went to, I believe, Washington State, and then Sully, you went to the beach.
I went to the beach. Yeah, Hull, Massachusetts. It's a little cape that kind of defines the borders of Boston Harbor. Boston Harbor for you kids out there. And it's a nice little beach town. I actually grew up going there. There was an old style amusement park that closed in 1986 when I was 13. So I spent my childhoods every summer there. And I saw the advent of the coin-operated cabinet video game happen there. So, Tempest, Atari Star Wars, all the best video games. We would be pumping quarters at the boardwalk. It smelled like funnel cake and fried clams and sea breeze. And, of course, it got bulldozed into condos years ago. So it's actually about 4 blocks of just bars and restaurants, but it's still a fun time. So we went away on vacation at a beach resort, and it was fun. Yeah, kind of like the Saved by the Bell summer year.
Is it actually a vacation if you barely leave the town you reside in?
It's a mental state.
You're like, oh, well, I live in Boston, and it was just at the edge of Boston Harbor. That's not vacation. That's going across town.
Yeah, it's an hour away from downtown Boston, 30 minutes from where we live, too. But it's it's right there. But it's beautiful.
I'm sorry, your vacation is 30 minutes away.
Fucking A, man.
You can go home.
That's the Bay State. Dude, this is one of the wonderful resources the Bay State has to offer the world. This is why the world comes here. We're like the Deep Space Nine of states. No, we don't have to go anywhere.
Always confined by the borders of Massachusetts.
Sully's on a vacation not very far away.
Oh man!
By the way, to answer the question, Dylan,
Chuck Norris.
Yes, that was
Okay.
Eric got it completely.
If you
Chuck's
can
dead,
walk,
somebody has to take up the mantle.
if you can walk to the destination, it's not a vacation.
Yeah. Sully was talking about going to the carnival or whatever. I'm from a little bitty tiny town in Missouri, like a little farming town, and every year this carnival festival thing would show up for a week, and the best thing there was you could buy throwing stars at it, dude. And then you could get a bottle of Coke that was distorted and then had colored water in it. Did you guys get that, Sparrow?
I mean, we got carnivals, but we didn't get Coke with colored water. I don't even know what that means.
It was
The only
heated up and
carnival that
stretched.
Coke is already colored water. What? It's just brown.
Blue.
All the Coke
Hold
colored
on.
anymore, dude.
Hold on. When the carnival shows up, they don't bring that kind of Coke.
I mean, all the carnies have the best kind. Nothing. And riding on some ramshackle ride that has been put together by a guy is fueled by cocaine and energy drinks, who has love and hate tattooed on his knuckles and is on the run from the law.
There's no
That's always the best experience. And you can win the cocaine mirrors. You're like, look, I got a mirror with Quiet Riot on it. What's this tiny mirror for? And your uncle's like, I can tell you what it's for.
Yep.
Well, of course, yeah, they would sell all the paraphernalia. You'd have the roach clips and all that stuff that my mom would be buying. But we were there for the throwing stars, Eric.
Oh, yeah. You can definitely get throwing stars. That was one of the very best episodes of South Park, was when they get the ninja weapons and it just becomes an anime. But the reason that resonated is because so many of us did go to carnivals and get throwing stars and nunchucks and shit. And then you were out in the backyard throwing them at each other.
Dude, this is what we would do. We would take our brooms and we would cut the handle into pieces and make our own nunchucks. And then we would get in a lot of trouble for destroying the brooms and stuff.
The broom.
Where'd you get the chain?
It's like the opening of Jaws.
We always had chain.
Karate chop the fence.
That's true. I forgot. In the when we grew up, there was always just a bunch of chain around.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Just a little bit of doing whatever.
Yeah, it's like the street
we
fight
make our own
scene in
nunchucks, have some throwing stars. Dylan, are throwing stars still a thing amongst the youth?
Not that I know of.
You never went to the carnival with the throwing stars?
I know. Well, we just walk around because everything costs money, so we didn't.
He's not
we didn't do anything at the carnival.
Come on.
Yeah, there's also that.
Well, I mean, I'm damn near 50. He's almost 30. There's a 20-year age gap.
Yeah, I think that's the point Doc is making, though, is I don't know what's among the youth right now.
It's like Jiminy Glick interviewing you, Dylan. Dylan, what are the kids into? I was always excited when I could find the throwing stars that looked exactly like Storm Shadow's throwing stars. I was like, yeah.
I always
But
wanted
the
the
problem is
belt
we end up
buckle.
having a bunch of throwing star like holes in the wall because that's what we would do because we were idiots.
I wanted the belt buckle where you could press the center of it and it just spits out your throwing star and you're ready for action.
What's with the accent? That's a perfectly reasonable belief.
The perfectly reasonable thing for a Midwesterner to do.
No, for anybody. Who would want a belt
So I
buckle?
think Aaron's
releases.
worldview of Midwesterners being retarded might be just getting proven show and show again.
I'm gonna get me that throwing star belt buckle.
There's no way I'm the only one that loves the
Shit, I tell you what.
Two chicks at the same time, dude. It's just like Office Space.
Tell you what I do.
All right, Aaron. So you are a professional editor / writer. There was a book this week called Black Cat. I don't think anybody read it, maybe but Sully. Perhaps Gabe gave it a gator, but probably not because it's not like anybody's reading Black Cat. But in a previous episode or issue, if you will, Black Cat had stolen a car, was being chased by the police, and ran over the Punisher's dog. Right?
Oh,
The Punisher kidnaps her and demands an apology. And then she escapes and like beats the crap out of him, Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner style. Who's the good person in this story? Is it the Punisher or is it the Black Cat?
I mean, I know who the bad person in the story is. It's whoever wrote it and whoever greenlit it.
Well, that's a True Little Wolf
No, but
story,
it's definitely Black Cat because the Punisher, if he was being written in character, would have shot her in the head for killing his dog.
Yeah,
He would have gone straight John Wick on her ass.
I've never heard of the Punisher capturing someone demanding an apology.
Well,
Doesn't
you've
sound
never
like
seen the
Frank.
Punisher. You've never seen the Punisher as written by G. Willow Wilson, my
Like
friend.
even MCU Punisher isn't like that.
Well, no, he captured Daredevil once. He didn't demand an apology.
Yeah,
but
he didn't
did
demand an
chastise him.
apology.
But it was
He
fairly
captured
tame by
Daredevil.
Punisher standards. I was like, I feel like
He
Punisher's
taped the
taking it pretty
revolver to his
easy.
hand.
Well, here's my easy answer. Who the hell cares? Because why are you reading a book by G. Willow Wilson? Why are you reading Marvel at all? None of it doesn't matter. None of it matters. The continuity doesn't matter.
No,
none of this shit matters. Like,
Nothing
what are we doing here?
I'm a professional comic book reviewer. Sometimes you got to take one for the team, you know?
Yeah, you got to read.
I know, you don't
No,
have to, right?
no. You can't use that after Escape, one of the best comics out. You're like, oh, there's like 9 issues out. I read the first issue and the last 2 issues. You skip everything else. But then these bullshit comics like Black Cat, you're like, I'm a professional comic reviewer. I have to read it. But the good stuff you skip and you're like, I don't have the time.
Listen, dude.
You prioritize what you want to read. You wanted to read that stupid Black Cat comic.
No, there really wasn't much out this week. So I ended up reading
Yeah,
that.
so
and
go back
X-Men
and read
Wolverine.
Escape.
They're all bad.
See, Dylan's right. Go back and read.
But when
Escape.
Escape comes out, it's
Oh,
always on
yeah.
that loaded week. But I prioritized it and I read it every week now.
Nice. See, it's called sorting your pull list. There, it's we do it
It
every
was a
week.
light week. It was a very light week.
Thank you,
I
Gabe.
thought
Somebody
Sully
else
was
that also
about to
reads
talk
comic
about
books.
sorting his floppies, and I was going to say that's not what that means.
Oh, by the way, I saw the final page of the book that Sully recommended last week, Savage Dragon.
Oh yeah,
And,
tell me about it.
First of all, Eric Larson needs to be arrested.
For what?
Because
Freedom of expression, Aaron.
I know that guy's hard drive has got some crazy shit on it that shouldn't be there. And you know what? His Asperger's is no longer an excuse.
I mean, David Lynch was one of the nicest Midwestern people, straight-laced and polite, and
Did he have a belt buckle with throwing stars in it?
He made the most bizarre, absurd, and violent stuff, and like to sort of juxtapose the creator to his creation. It's fair.
Well, yeah, Mark Miller's the salt of the earth. He's the nicest guy in
Right.
the world. And you read a Mark Miller book, and he puts people through hell.
He does the cruelest things to his characters.
Right, but I never get the sense with a Mark Miller book that he's jacking his crank while he's doing it.
That was rough.
I
And
definitely
everything with Eric Larson, it's like this is just his every perverse fantasy drawn onto the page and making you look at it.
I think.
I don't think he made you look. I mean,
He didn't make you
look.
look.
It out, Sparrow.
No, actually,
Okay.
Dylan made me look. He was like, "This is the book Sully recommended this week."
This is the book.
I was like, "Oh God!" What the?
This is what I get for watching Cecil all the time. I'm a degenerate too. No, I mean I think it's
You've
it's
been
satire.
recommending Savage Dragon for
Yeah.
months.
I have. It's
Yeah.
satire.
It's not good,
Why?
Sully. It's
It's
not a
the
good
art-
book.
You know what? This is where it comes down to taste because I see the strengths in it that.
Oh, I don't use taste with Eric Larson's book.
The art is great.
I'm sorry. Is this the book that finished with an airtight scene?
This came out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it the Golden Gate or is it just
Okay.
out like an
All right.
application?
Look,
There's nothing, but the
Pornhub
there's a joke
exists.
in there.
Please.
There's nothing hot about
go
that.
there.
There is nothing hot about that.
Axel Braun makes film. At least just go watch that if that's what you need.
I'm just saying, Doc. In this particular case, London Bridge was not falling down.
No.
Listen, I haven't read the
Eiffel
comic book, so
Tower.
I have no opinion. But
Wes, you
of
might
what
get
I've seen of
arrested
Savage
for
Dragon, I
reading
wasn't a fan.
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, like Malcolm Dragon, who cares? Who gives a shit? And then and then everything from that is just. I mean, I get it. He's got to do these little stunts to try and get attention because a couple of years ago he was down to like 3,000 copies. I'm sure he's like down to under 2,000 now. So you got to try and like get some hype. But
Got to get to 300.
yeah.
He's got to be the third indie book to do it.
But here's the thing. I mean, he will have done all of it, which I guess like Dave Sim also did all of it. Like, sure, Spawn got there, but Todd didn't do every issue. He'll get there, but at what cost?
Well, nobody's reading it. It's like
Well, when over half the run is hot garbage, like what? So you made it to 300. Big deal. Your book has sucked for like well over a decade.
I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Eric Larson because he was a founding member of Image, right? You can't take that away from him.
Keep coasting on that.
Right. But my point is,
Like it was just yesterday.
And he demonstrates something that you very rarely see in the comics industry today, which is basically a consistent work ethic. So
Yeah, it's called Asperger's, Gabe.
Yeah,
he's got
yeah.
Asperger's, and he's fixated on this porno book that he's doing. And
I mean, yeah,
damn it, he's going to write it to 300 issues.
You can quibble over the quality. You can say you don't like the art. You can say you like the story. And I agree with all of that. I mean, I think it is like puerile stuff that you'd find in a middle schooler's notebook. I mean, that to me, that's the quality that we're talking about here. But at least he does it, and he does it month in and month out. If everyone adopted at least that work ethic, and I'm talking about all creators from Marvel, DC, and whatever else, I think the industry would at least be a little bit stronger than it is now.
I mean, that's a fair statement.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. But here's the thing. Savage Dragon would have been canceled 15 years ago if he wasn't subsidized by being an Image partner.
Right.
If he wasn't being if his life wasn't being subsidized by being an Image partner and getting revenue that way, he would have had to give it up because it doesn't have any commercial value. It's one thing
100%. 100% agree.
Yeah, but I mean, you can be dedicated to a product that loses money for for 90% of its existence only if you are essentially in a fucking trust fund. I mean, great, the trust fund kid, because he's essentially a trust fund kid by being an Image partner, can explore whatever nonsense he wants to do. I don't think that's the lesson we want the comic industry to learn.
He's like the son of the CEO that gets made CEO because he's the son of the CEO.
Yeah,
He's still power. He still holds the power by virtue of the relationship, not because he's earned it.
Yeah, if
But
he wasn't his
that
book would
work
have been
ethic is the
canceled.
thing I'll give him props on. It's the work ethic.
Yeah,
Everything else,
I mean, being 100% dedicated and fixated on it is fine, only if it's actually making you an income.
Gabe, I just want to say that I really want to give it up to that autistic kid for knowing all that stuff about trains.
Perfect.
I feel like we buried the lead here. Apparently, Dylan is reading Savage Dragon.
What?
How is that
Why would you
believed?
do that?
Wow.
The lead was me bagging on Sully. That was what the lead was.
No,
That's why
he
you-
sent you the picture, so obviously
You don't have
Dylan read
proper sleeping habits. That's why you can't get up at a decent hour.
I
because
haven't
you're
read a
reading stuff.
single issue of Savage Dragon ever.
Then how did you send it to me?
Bravo, Dylan. Bravo.
I haven't sent anything to Aaron. I don't know where that came from.
I thought you said Dylan sent it to
He
him.
did, but I don't know.
Oh,
where
did
it
I?
came
Did I say
from.
Dylan?
Yeah.
I meant to say Dolan. I meant to say Drew.
No, Dolan.
Oh, okay. Drew reading that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the part where I'm going to contradict myself a little bit. I
Uh-huh.
will give Eric Larson all the props in the world for his work ethic by continuing to put it out month after
Uh-huh.
month. I will then take away those props because the point of doing it month after month after month is you're supposed to get better, not worse. Savage Dragon today is significantly worse than when Savage Dragon first came out.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And so he's doing the exact opposite of what he should be doing with
Well,
that
when it
time.
first
which
came
is
out, it was a
improving.
Hulk knockoff, and now it's a weird porn book.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's-
weird
yeah.
weird
It's a
Tijuana
fetish
porn book.
I guess is what I'd call it. Yeah.
It would be like it would be like if they would have decided that the Hulk from Old Man Logan, we decided to just tell his story where he kidnaps She-Hulk and has a bunch of incest babies with her. Like
Yeah.
that's where it would have been if Eric Larson was doing.
Well, I apologize, Dylan. I didn't slander you. Aaron did, but I did try to capitalize on it and burn you there for a second. So.
Well, I think there was a robust conversation just waiting to happen. Seriously, because I know
Don't
that
use the
Aaron-
word bust when you're talking about
Robust.
Savage Dragon.
Robust. You know what I mean? I just because I know Aaron has very solid opinions and feelings about this book, and I'm coming at it from a completely different perspective.
You're interacting with the book on a higher plane of existence than Aaron is.
I see satire. I see really good art. I'm loving Eric Larson's art style. It's somewhere between Howard Chaykin and Frank Miller. I love his panels. I love his exaggerations. I love the lampooning of the superhero genre that we all love and binds us together. It's ridiculous. It's not to be taken seriously. And there's.
I'd rather just read The Tick.
And I think they're all pathetic characters. They're all exercises in pathos and pity. I mean, there's nothing like really heroic about them. This is a joke. This is a humor magazine. This is an adult.
I don't think it's a joke when you're clearly drawing porno where the Savage Dragon's wife is intentionally drawn to look like she's underage.
Maxine Dragon's a 33-year-old woman in the book, though.
Yeah, he can call it that, but that's not how he's drawing it. Like if anybody just opened up that book and looked at it, they'd be like, "This is an underage girl."
I think that there's a joke about it in there, like about the fascination of of Japanese women or Asian women. There's something to, or the anime thing or the manga thing. I think there's something like that's. I don't know. I don't know.
Suddenly, this conversation is starting to feel very uncomfortable.
Well, if I lampshade the horrible things I'm putting into my book, then it's okay. That's not the way it works.
Well, beyond
is that lampshade made of human skin?
I think it is.
This is a tough room to have this conversation in. I mean, seriously, I buy this book. I spend $4.99 on it 4 times a year. I have a different sense of humor. I come from a tradition where I read Cherry Pop-Tart. I read Milo Manara. Stefan Sajak's a really good artist, and these are all adult.
Well, sure. I mean, I like Mirka Andolfo. I get it that there is a place for kind of like body ribald kind of comics, but that's not the way Dragon feels. Dragon just feels like it feels like the author's barely disguised fetish. Not at all disguised fetish, really, because he just continually goes back to it. It's the only thing that's keeping him interested in his own book anymore is what crazy, I don't want to make the whole show about this.
I know. We just came up, but at least we're talking comics,
I don't need to hear about things coming up right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Look, if we don't spend the next hour and a half talking about James Gunn, I don't know what we're going to do.
Oh, my God.
We did that last week. Sorry, dude. You missed that one. So, Dylan, there's a huge fight card this weekend, right?
Yeah. It's International
UFC
Fight Week.
329?
Yep.
Sparrow versus Sully. Yeah, right now.
Conor McGregor making his long way to return. Is he finally going to get back to form, dude?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it'll be like the second Dustin fight where he comes out, he looks good until Max takes over.
Then your favorite fighter, Whitaker's in there fighting my favorite fighter.
Nikita Krylov is your
Krylov?
favorite fighter. It's crazy.
He's great.
You must have had a rough 2025. He got knocked out twice. That was the only time he fought in 2025.
I don't like him because he's a winner. I like him because weird shit happens when he's fighting.
Yeah.
You might accidentally TKO a guy with a ball shot and not get caught. He's great. He just kind of does some weird, dirty stuff. I like it. When I say dirty, I mean illegal. I don't mean any of the stuff we were talking about before.
Just talking about. You just said it involved balls when talking about, so I think you do mean the type of stuff we're talking
A
about.
nut shot is way different than an oil check. You know what I mean?
Oh my god! I'm horrified that I know what that is, and the way that I learned it is I was told a story about a specific celebrity.
Oh man. Huh. Yeah, but George St. Pierre was allowed to kick somebody in the nuts every single fight until he gets the warning.
Yeah. I mean, John Jones eye pokes and kicks in the nuts every single fight. He has the most like warnings of any UFC fighter ever. He's, one of the GOATs.
So you're excited for this one? What? It's on Paramount Plus?
Yep. Paramount Plus if you're in the US.
Is this going to be the biggest fight card of the year? Maybe.
It's going to be hard because we just had the
Freedom?
White House one.
Yeah.
I mean, this one will do probably more numbers since it's Connor. It's already like one of the top gates ever. So it's going to be crazy. And it's a stacked card too. It's cool that they put on an international fight week because before they've put them on not so great cards because like people buy regardless it's Connor. But this time they actually put them on a great card. So hopefully some of these other fighters get some shine from so many casuals showing up to watch.
Very good.
I think they need to make another Connor. And they're looking at it like, hey, we can put these other great fighters on here, and hopefully, those casuals that check out for a Connor fight will start getting hyped for some of these other great fighters instead of showing them, okay, but nothing special fights, so that they have some other reason to show up for a UFC fight.
Yeah, when the ESPN Plus deal happened all those years ago, that killed them ever having any motivation to make another Connor because they're like, we got paid. Who gives a fuck what the fights look like? And so they didn't do a good job promoting any fighters at all because it didn't matter because they got paid already. And now they got paid again with Paramount Plus, but maybe there's more incentive from Paramount to actually put some effort into the cards because this one's a really stacked card. So hopefully they actually do their job as a promotion and promote fighters because for the past decade or so, they have not done a good job at building up fighters at all.
Dill, did you get to check out the Absolute Batman this week?
Yes.
I like the art from Werther Dell'Edera. What'd you think of the book?
I don't care about Harley Quinn at all, and I don't care about Absolute Harley Quinn either. There's two reveals in it. One is you can see coming from a mile away, the most obvious reveal ever. And the other one is like, oh, okay, that one was I didn't. We'll see if that one's real or not. But that was pretty nuts. That was my favorite part of the book. That was interesting. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah basically, I just don't care about Harley Quinn. I'm so done with Harley Quinn and all versions of Harley Quinn.
Sully gave it a knot this week. He didn't like it almost at all.
I tied it in a bow and I made a knot.
But he didn't like the art. He doesn't like Werther Dell'Edera. He thought the art was a big turnoff.
I like the art. In theory, it's cartoony and sketchy and maybe a little childlike in places. Yet it didn't work for me there, and it was because I'm maybe spoiled with Dragotta and like Eric Canetti, just like this, that was lost on me. But and then the story didn't help it either. I actually think that Snyder is retreading a few things from his past works at this point too, especially with the reveal at the end.
Yeah. What say you, Gabe? Did you feel like? Because I feel like Absolute Batman has taken some steps back the last couple of issues.
Yeah, I kind of have that same feeling as well. Absolute Harley Quinn is probably the least interesting design for a revamped character in the Absolute universe. I was not at all interested in her backstory. I think in her introduction, or their first appearance, was just a lot of nothing. So this was like, let's give her some meat on the bone. Let's try and give her some interesting depth to her character so people know what she's all about. And we got that. The twists are interesting. One, like Dylan said, you can see it coming from a mile away. The one twist about her origin, basically her father. The timing and the weird pacing of the story, I felt was very off for me. The trouble that I'm having with Absolute Batman now, and unfortunately, I think this is something that we sort of predicted early on, was once you get past like the big over the top, big dumb Batman bombast, you eventually have to start settling in and tell stories. You actually have to have a story with a beginning, middle, and end. The last several issues, Scott Snyder, I think, has lost that a little bit. He's telling bits and pieces of things like it's some kind of weird soap opera, like you're just catching up on conversations, what's happening over here, what's happening over there. It's not coming together in a through line that you can kind of latch onto, and everything supports that. So you just get this big backstory on Harley Quinn, which is fine, but then it's like, well, you made a big deal about the Robins. Where was that? Well, there was a throwaway in the issue that lasted like maybe a page or two. And what about this big introduction for the Scarecrow? Well, he's in there basically off panel, but as a voice that gets thrown away after a panel or two. He's not setting up a story. He's setting up it's almost turning into action-based slice of life, which I think is not at all, consistent with what you want from a Marvel or DC comic. And on that count, if that's how you want to continue, that's fine. I think people are going to get bored with that real quick, because slice of life really doesn't suit the superhero arc epic story format with a beginning, middle, and end. And unless he starts to kind of straighten out and say, okay, this is an arc. This is what's happening. Even if it's a one shot or a 2-parter or a 3-parter, kind of like what he did with Absolute Poison Ivy. That was not great, but it was good. At least you had a beginning, middle, and end. You kind of resolved that issue. He's sort of wandering a little too much for my taste, and unless he gets that straightened out, I think that's going to be a problem that he's going to start digging himself into a hole with. And I think he needs to get that straightened out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think my big issue is I find Absolute Scarecrow really compelling and really, really cool. But right now we're focusing more on Absolute Robins, which, I thought the concept was neat, but I find the execution underwhelming. And now we're concentrating on Absolute Harley, who I'm not really interested in at all. And I'm sitting there holding, the book going, when are we going to get back to the interesting thing that's been introduced and the guy that's doing neat stuff or interesting things in the book?
Yeah, I mean, think about how the series started. It was this big sort of taking over. I know we get that a lot. Taking over Gotham City arc with Black Mask and the Party Animals, which was, I think, fairly great, at least in the sense that you got an introduction to Batman. You had this big challenge you had to overcome. And then you started introducing little bits and pieces that will play out later. But we never really got back to that as well. And so you just it seems like he's struggling to find his direction. And he needs to hone in and focus on something, even if it's not the best story. Maybe it's not as big, not as bombastic, but at least something. And then we can move forward and see where that goes. Focus on the Joker. You made a big deal about bringing in the Joker, Grimm. Why is he just like showing up in 1 or 2 panels here and there and making himself known as an intimidating presence, but he's really not doing anything with it? He's just sort of like hovering in the background. Okay, well, you introduced him. You made a big deal out of it.
The Infinity Saga.
Yeah, do something with it. Or at least show that Grimm is somehow orchestrating the events that are making Gotham difficult or making Batman's life or Bruce's life difficult. Show him doing something.
He has been showing that like every single time. That's what Grimm is behind everything. So point he has been doing that the entire time.
But it's so small. It feels so small when you find out. It's like, oh, it was Grimm all the time. And then you just end and then you keep going. It doesn't feel like you're building towards something. It just feels like this annoying gnat that's buzzing in the background. He's there, he may be orchestrating things, but you never really get the sense that you're building towards some big confrontation with Grimm, which I think is where he needs to go.
The thing he's done to Bruce's life, I would not call an annoying gnat. I think if someone did that to my life, I would be very messed up and not much more than an annoying gnat.
Friends into monsters.
Also behind a lot of things with his parents, I don't want to spoil because I don't know how caught up people are in the chat. So I don't know about that. I think it's a bit more than an annoying gnat.
I think that one of the problems also, Dylan, I do feel like he was telling a story, but then they realized when they have the big debuts, they got these enormous spikes in interest and people throwing money into the book. So it almost feels more focused
Gimmicky.
on making sure you get big debuts so they can pump the numbers up.
Yeah.
You know, and whether or not it's the right time for that debut or not. You know what I mean?
That variant cover.
Yeah, it does feel like you're getting a bit of like, now you're getting tune in this week, you'll get the absolute version of this or that. But I'm with you where like I was locked in with Scarecrow. I loved what was going on with Scarecrow. There's a lot of cool stuff. And I don't care about Mech Robbins, and I don't care about Harley, because I thought Absolute Batman was doing really well. I liked a lot of what was going on. And then just these last couple issues, it's taking a bit of a skid and hoping we can return to form, because I don't care about Mech Robbins. At least Harley Quinn's like moving on. At least we got that with this issue.
Yeah, I don't want to see another 20 cover variant introducing Absolute Ventriloquist. You know,
well, that's what keeps this. That's what keeps the numbers high. That's what keeps this book a success. Is that they sell a bajillion. You know, it's not being read by all that many people in the grand scheme of things, but it sells a lot of covers.
You're right.
I mean,
but
to be fair with
danger.
that, though, there's a lot of comics that have a lot of covers and they don't do Absolute Batman numbers.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. It's the 1-2 punch of Batman plus a whole lot of covers, and a Batman that at least has some people hooked in.
And
that's
I
the
will say,
prediction coming to fruition.
And
it's going to plateau off. It's going to plateau off, and all that market share conversation that I think is going to be coming up a little bit later is all about. Most of that is being driven by Absolute Batman. When it starts to plateau, and I think it's starting to get to that point, well, then whatever success the momentum you're building on, you're going to lose it if you don't have something in the barrel ready to go. So
I think there's a larger conversation to be had of has Absolute Batman in the Absolute Universe been a net gain when it has tanked the regular DC universe? Because you got two options here. Either the Absolute Universe becomes the mainline DC universe at some point if it continues to be successful, which we don't think it will. Eventually, all things do start to peter out. But if it starts to peter out and you've done long-term damage to your regular DCU and nobody's interested in it anymore, what have you really accomplished? Was it a net gain, or was it just a temporary stopgap on the way to just completely destroying your publishing line?
So I just want to say two things on this part about Absolute Batman. One, as far as variant covers and everything goes, I don't think that's really carrying it, but also that can also balance out from there's so many people pirating this comic. There's more online talk about this comic than like any other comic I've seen in years. And I have a big feeling a lot of those people that are posting their screenshots of them reading it are pirating it. So I feel like that kind of balances out if you have some people that are buying it and not reading it, and you also have a lot of people pirating it that aren't buying it. As far as it petering off, so many people that have been saying that since issue 1 and it hasn't happened yet. Obviously, eventually it will, but that's like the dumbest take possible. Be like, it's going to fall off eventually. And then like 75 issues ends, it does. But I called it from day one. I've been saying it since day one.
Oh no, I said it probably had a good 3 years of strong sales in it.
No, but I'm saying like what
No,
Gabe was
to be
saying,
clear,
where
I
it's
didn't
like
say peter off. I said plateau. There's a difference. So
I
you
said
get to a
peter
point
off.
where you're rising, and then you hold to a steady state where you stop growing. That's different than petering off where it starts to fall off. I think it'll plateau and then just hold there, and then people are going to start looking for the novelty again, and they're going to say, okay, well, what else you got? And that's where the conversation gets a little complicated.
Well, right now they're meeting that demand by just continually launching new Absolute titles that people jump into because they're reading.
I think they've been
Batman.
pretty patient with that. They haven't launched that many. They've done
not that many, but there's been enough to like satisfy the demand. Like they're not overextending themselves.
They're not doing X-Men where like let's do 18 books.
Exactly.
Well, that's the other part of it too, is because Marvel's got nothing right now. Marvel.
But what I'm saying is that like they're satisfying that demand of what's next by going like, okay, well here's Absolute Green Arrow, and then the fans go and they read Absolute Green Arrow and they decide whether they like it or not. But if you don't like it, well, don't worry, because pretty soon we'll have an Absolute something else that you can check out.
Firestorm or Absolute Aquaman or Absolute. But to Aaron's point earlier, I feel like we did kind of have this same situation with Marvel in 2003 there was the exact same conversation around the Ultimate line, because it was doing gangbusters, and at the time it was at the expense of the mainline Marvel universe. ASM still sold pretty well because you had JMS and the J. Scott Campbell variants, and John Romita Jr. doing interiors on it. So it was doing really well. Morrison's X-Men was doing okay, but that was about it. And there was a lot of conversation about, do they replace the mainline universe with the Ultimate Universe? And then they just brought some of those creators, Mark Miller went over, Bendis went over, and started going on the mainline titles. And it started blowing the Ultimate titles away. Now, I think it's a different situation where you're not bringing in all new creatives at DC. You're actually reutilizing a lot of your existing creatives and moving them over and just letting them kind of do stuff without worrying about continuity or all that other stuff that they do have to worry about on the mainline titles. But at the same time, I feel like it is still a similar conversation. I think that there's a greater likelihood that they replace the mainline titles with the absolute ones than it was at Marvel replacing their mainline with Ultimate. But I still think it's very unlikely. I think that it's a novelty line, and that's all it'll ever really be. It might have a longer or shorter lifespan than Ultimate did, but
it depends on the success of the TV show, the animated show that they're doing. If that thing blows up, it will definitely expand its life out.
Yeah, it will grow the life of the line. But whether
just
or
like
not
what
that actually...
Invincible's doing with their Invincible stuff, they're relaunching all that stuff now because of the success of the show.
Yeah, and it might be very, very, very good for the long term. It might just be okay.
And there was an Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, right?
There was, but
it's the only Ultimate book that lasted a long time.
Well, that and X-Men.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think the cartoon, if done well, Dylan, will definitely increase interest and potentially sales long term too. That could be a real stroke of genius.
They better have it out in manga format when that comes out, like just a line of Absolute Batman in the manga format. Yeah. So that people that watch the show can then go grab the books.
So here's the challenge that I think plays exactly into the point that we made earlier is you could do like a limited series of anime or a manga inspired type of artwork that'll capture that first Party Animals arc. And I think that could play really well, especially for a more mature crowd. Then after that, what do you do? Because he hasn't had a fully fleshed out 3, 4, 6 issue arc based upon one particular through line, because he's had so many different pieces that have been interspersed. And
the Bane story was 100% of
the Bane. Oh, I'm sorry, the Bane one. But then once you get past, like for example, where would you put the last 2 or 3 issues in an animated series? How would you do that?
You put exactly the same number.
I don't know.
The same number that their issue is. It's just those are going to be the episodes that aren't as good.
Right, exactly. And so one of the lessons that we've learned, and we've seen this over and over again with especially the conversion from manga to anime, is that it's not always perfect, but a lot of the time it's a fairly close, authentic adaptation of the print. And people are like, oh, I didn't realize the print was like this. Let me go back and buy the print. They get themselves into this positive cycle of reinforcement. If you start doing Absolute Batman cartoons, and maybe you do the first 2 arcs, you do the Party Animals arc, you do the Bane arc, and those go off great. And then when you get to the later issues, it's like one-offs about Harley Quinn and little bits and pieces about the funeral for Jim Gordon. Sorry, that's a spoiler if you haven't read it. And some of this other stuff that's going on. Well, then people are like, I don't care. Or if they don't do that, then they have to start inventing new arcs that didn't come from the print side. And then you lose that.
That's why he put Scott Snyder as the showrunner. He's not going to deviate from the stuff that he created. Hopefully. I hope they expanded a little bit.
I think people are used to watching shows that have a couple episodes that aren't top tier, especially with animes that go on for a long time and have a ton of episodes that are bad. I think people can survive and stick around and be fine. And I don't think Absolute Batman's been bad for a while. I think it's just been these past couple issues where they've kind of lost the way. But I could fully see if Snyder can focus in again, we can get back to being good again. I just think it's once we got to these mech Robins, that's where I've started to lose interest because I just don't care.
To be clear, I'm not saying Absolute Batman is bad. I'm just saying it's still probably one of the best things that DC's putting out right now. I'm just saying it's not as good as how it started. It's dropped off a little bit. And so
I don't know. I thought the Absolute Scarecrow stuff was as good as anything that's been in Absolute Batman, and that's only 3 issues ago, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this just happened. This little skid. It's only been like 2 issues or so.
Yeah, it felt like an inopportune time to do the Mech Robins.
And if he is doing, if he is looking over a show that's being, maybe this is the period where it's like he had like a really intense kind of time on working on the show, and so he kind of had to do some filler comics. Just let me do some Mech Robins, kind of knock that out. So it's just kind of like a placeholder because I'm not being able to like really dig in and do do the best storyline here. So
you've also got the Court of Owls sitting in the background. We haven't seen anything about Bruce's mother in like 10 issues, maybe something like that.
It's been a bit.
Yeah. So obviously there's things that are sitting there waiting to be explored and revealed. And I do think Sully's right on that final reveal being a part of that. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's been interesting. But I have noticed I'm just not as excited about it right now, unfortunately, just because of these 2 issues. But
I want another Batman kicking a kid moment. I want more of that.
Love Batman kicking a child into the ocean.
Maybe it would be great, to be honest with you, that Absolute Batman transforms his chest hatchet into a crowbar and he takes care of Jason Todd. And the irony of the Absolute universe. That's what I want. I'd pay for that. Yeah.
I'm not going to be happy until the whole city is
Joker is Batman and Batman is Joker in this universe. Don't you get it?
Well, I get it.
And Catwoman is Tony Stark.
Yeah, we figured that out yesterday. We were talking like is she Absolute Riri Williams? She's tech based now. She was a femme fatale.
But also Harley Quinn is that too.
Yeah, and it's like it's like I can see the pushing the STEM studies in
who's the hacker that Tinian did? Was it Miracle Molly?
Yeah, she had like the neon colors, the green and the pink neon.
You know what it reminds?
Actually, absolute Harley Quinn is actually Robin, if you think about it.
You know what it reminds me of?
She does all stuff. She goes into the field. She has a tragic backstory with her parents. She's the new Robin.
It reminds me of when I was at Boom, and Mark Waid had introduced this new character, a black character, into Irredeemable. And he came into the office, and I said, "Oh, hey, Mark, I read the new Irredeemable. I really like the new character you introduced." And Mark said, "Yeah, I didn't know how to write Street, so I just decided to go against type and make him the smartest character in the book." And I remember like my jaw kind of like falling open because I was like, "So you think making a black character smart is against type?" Okay.
He's like, never say that publicly ever.
Yeah, please do not ever.
Dude, I grew up in a city and we have a tag as being a racist city, and we're really not, because the face of our city is a black Dominican named Big Poppy, But I mean, Mark Waid must have grown up with Huggy Bear of Starsky and Hutch as his like touchstone for race stuff. Jeez.
I don't know how to write Street.
So I don't know how to write Street. All I can see is Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch, which is an egregious stereotype of the 70s.
Nobody knows who that is. I know who that is, but nobody knows.
I know who Huggy Bear is.
Look it up, children out there.
Also, there was a Starsky and Hutch movie.
There was a Starsky and Hutch movie
with Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller.
That's like 20 years old now, so it's like maybe we are showing.
Let's see
was it Antonio Vargas? Antonio Vargas? Right? Was he the Huggy Bear?
Let's hear from the peoples. We got sandals. I'm having a refreshing breakfast. Glizzy, banana and PB&J.
Ooh, I love PB&J and banana. I take a PB&J and bacon because it's like
Is it glizzy good. Like a sandwich or something?
No, glizzy's a hot dog. So that means I think he did peanut butter and jelly in a hot dog bun and just put the full-on banana in there like a hot dog.
Really? Oh,
I think that's what he did here.
My mouth watered a second.
That sounds like something you could get at the carnival when you're getting your cocaine mirror.
Imagine if you deep fried it.
And your shirt.
That sounds like something Eric Larson would put in a comic book.
At the end of the last
Maybe
page,
he
to
had a
shock
hot
you.
dog and he put slices of banana and peanut butter like on it. That'd be pretty good.
I mean, he said PB and
That
J.
sounds fucking terrible.
Oh man,
Sounds good. I'd do it.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Very nice. Then he says, sitting like Darkseid in the living room, lazy boy reading Savage Dragon 280 with my Supergirl cup.
don't have too much.
Okay.
Sully, I think I found your
soulmate. That's right. I
That's
already got
a,
one. Thank you.
It's a barrage of visual imagery. Thank you.
Are you in your robe? Is it at least closed?
Jag Live. We've got. So, how do you guys rate each of the Absolute books so far? Only book I dislike is Absolute Green Arrow, since the premise annoys me. Catwoman, I'm mixed on. So I'll give my rankings. I go Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman. Then after that, I guess I will go Absolute Flash, probably Martian Manhunter, Catwoman, and then Green Lantern. I think I got all of them right.
You didn't say
Wait,
Green
no,
Arrow.
Green Arrow. We'll throw him at the bottom.
Green
Well,
Arrow
that's
is
how
worse
I
than Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
by a lot.
Absolute
Martian
Green Arrow.
Manhunter has phenomenal art that almost saves the book, and it's just abstract is what the problem with the story is. What do you think, Dylan? What's your ranking?
I'd say Absolute Batman #1, then Absolute Superman, then Absolute Wonder Woman, then Absolute Flash. And after that, I've read one issue of Absolute Green Lantern, so I can't really rank it. I hated the art. And then I haven't read Absolute Martian Manhunter because Denise Camp, I can't, every time I read a Denise Camp comic, I want to shoot myself. So I haven't read any Absolute Martian Manhunter. So that leaves Absolute Catwoman and an Absolute Green Arrow. So in that order, Absolute Catwoman, then Green Arrow. Green Arrow, man, I want it to be good. If it's 2 issues in, it's been really bad. It's been a slog to read. It's Absolute Black Canary. It's not even Absolute Green Arrow.
All right, do what I saw there, Gabe. What's your final ranking? Then we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, I would still put Absolute Batman first. It's not like I was hating on it early. I'm not. I want it to be better, but I'll still say it's probably the best of the bunch. Absolute Superman has gotten better since they got out of the Krypton nonsense. That has improved significantly. So I'll put that as number 2. Absolute Wonder Woman 3. It's okay. I've never been blown away by it.
Very good.
But to each his own. And Hayden Sherman's art, I think, is what kills it for me, especially Jordi Belair's coloring. Ugh, terrible. After that, Absolute Flash. I would say Absolute Green Lantern. Then Absolute Catwoman. Then Green Arrow. And I would put Martian Manhunter at the bottom. It's an unintelligible nonsense. And I don't.
Yeah, but I'd rather have that than Green Arrow.
Well, at least you can understand what's going on half the time. How does fried
I
chicken
can pretend that Dennis Camp isn't just completely stupid in this book.
How does fried chicken have emotions? Come on, Wes. How does fried chicken have emotions? Explain
Don't make me explain it to you.
it. Exactly.
Dennis Camp's retarded.
Yes.
Sado says, how many creators like Eric Larson drop off, retire after President Trump retires in 2033?
2033. I see what you did there.
That sounds like
I
a
don't know.
Catholic question.
Does Kurt Busiek still resist?
I don't know.
Because I remember he was so proud he put that on his Twitter during Trump's first term. Kurt Busiek resists, and then it came down when Biden was elected. But I don't know if it ever went back up. So it's like, is he just not resisting anymore?
Prolonging his comic book career. I don't think anybody's prolonging their comic book career, so they could write about Trump. So I don't know that any of them quit. I have no idea. Maybe.
Like,
I think Eric Larson will quit when he can no longer do it. Like when he.
Yeah, I think he needs the money.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I don't think he makes any money on Savage Dragon, but he'll keep being the CFO or whatever of Image.
Yeah, probably keep doing that on the side. I'm sorry.
I mean, the truth about Larson is he made enough money. He's got enough. He owns enough Jack Kirby art that if he got into a financial bind, he could auction that off and be fine.
Good for him. We got Lane Kramer, Jag Live. So Comics by Purchase put out some bids that the future of Marvel is going to MCU adjacent creatively. How do you guys feel as a reader that will be?
Well, I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader anymore, so I don't care. Like, they can ruin whatever they want. It doesn't matter to me, because my love of the characters is in action figure form at this point, because nobody can come into my collection and be like, "Hey, guess what? Shuma Gorath is trans now and he likes feet pics." You know, and you're like, "What?" that can't happen.
What do you think, Gabe? Obviously, you're reading as much Marvel as I am these days. Does this feel like a good change to you?
I try to stay, unlike Sith, I try to stay away from absolutes. But I would say if there's a 99% bet, the Perch is spot on about this. Because if we look at, what's his name, Winterbaum and Abdo, who are coming in from Disney and Marvel Entertainment internally, not the print, and what they bring in, they're all about digital. They're all about synergy. They're all about making everything homogeneous as far as from one type of platform or
I think
medium.
it's homogenous.
It's homogenous. That's okay.
Sorry,
You're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
just terrible. It's my Brooklyn
Got
accent.
some
Sorry about that.
homogeneuses here. What do you mean?
Is it Ra's al Ghul? Is it Ra's al Ghul? Is it
tomato? So I would say that the probability of that synergy happening is almost but guaranteed at this point. And I would even offer, I think Perch said something to this effect, but I'll just echo it anyway, is the push for digital is going to ratchet up significantly. So that doesn't mean print goes away. Let me be clear. I'm not saying print goes away. I'm saying they're going to be mandated to make digital more profitable and successful than it is right now. And there's going to be a strong push in that direction because those guys both come from digital.
Yeah, but
So
that doesn't do anything about the fucking reading experience. As a reader, are you excited? Do you think this is going to help Marvel Comics? I think that's the question.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, because the digital reading experience and the physical print reading experience are significantly different, and the synergy with the MCU has got a lot of sway in both directions, both good and bad. So if you don't like the way the MCU portrays characters, which I think is going to be the tail wagging the dog, then you're going to be in for a very, very rough time with the future of Marvel in the next year and a half.
As opposed to now, where it's all sunshine and rainbows. We're just getting quality every
Great representations of the characters.
There's
in
at
the
least an
comics right now.
illusion of autonomy that the comics are doing what the comics want to do. That time, I think, is over. The comics are going to do what's good for every other medium, which is digital, streaming, film, whatever.
Doc, when Acclaim bought Valiant, and it stopped doing comic book stuff, and it started doing stuff, to synergize with the video games, and it basically destroyed Valiant.
Yeah, basically, and I have an expectation that that's probably not too different from what you're going to end up. What's going to be the end result of what they're doing with Marvel. They're going to try. They're going to try to make it work. It's not going to, because at the end of the day, it is still the tail wagging the dog, and it's going to fall flat. They're going to try it. They're going, and when it does not work, that is, I think, when they start outsourcing. This is their last gasp at making comics work the way they want them to work within the corporate structure. And when it doesn't, that's when you're going to start seeing them give very, very, very serious. They're going to start paring down their line to just their best sellers, and then
all right, we're going outside the scope of the question, and that's already a topic that we're going to get to. Yeah. But as a reader, me personally, I think there are some good things about that and bad things about it. I don't think that we're going to have Gail Simone doing an Uncanny X-Men book focusing on the outliers, with this kind of synergy. She's going to be focusing on X-Men characters that people will actually like and want to see in movies that they have plans for. So you won't have to worry about Calico and all this other bullshit with Ransom and stuff like that, which I do think has basically destroyed their X-Men line. But they're also going to have to do things
you're
that
going
might
to
not be all that creative. It's kind of going with what we're doing now, but just with the smaller cast of characters, which could be bad. I don't know.
You're going to run into but they're going to run into the exact same problem that current Marvel is running into, which is they can't get anyone that wants to work for them.
Well, you're gonna have to pay for
Here's
that.
an interesting twist to that, real quick. To get that synergy, you have to have an alignment between the way Hollywood does things versus the way the print side does things. And if that's the case, I could foresee such a situation where Windebaum tries to bring in more like Hollywood film type script writers to start writing the comics, as opposed to bringing in somebody who comes from comics and then writing it and then trying to translate it out. They might try to backfill it and have, writers room, screen room writers come in and start writing the comics as test beds for what they want to adapt.
That could go good or bad. Jeremy Adams started out as a screenwriter. Turns out he's a great comic book writer. Tim Sheridan started out as a screenwriter. Turns out he's a terrible comic book writer. So,
Exactly.
Mixed results on that stuff. We got HH the fam at Sigma Comics. Shout out to the Think Critical team from SuperCon Miami. Support Thinking Critical comical opinions and indie comics. Go snag some Calico comics on our site today. Absolutely. Beautiful Miami.
Yeah, boy.
Fun.
But it's just really warm there, right?
Oh, I bet it's really
It's
nice.
hotter than shit here.
I would suggest a Cuban sandwich, a Cubano, but HH doesn't eat lunch meat like that.
See, that's
doesn't
the
eat
other
jelly beans?
name for. Hold on, the Cuban sandwich is also the other name for what they were doing to the Savage Dragon's wife.
Really? Oh, that's where the secret sauce comes from.
Enjoy Miami, HH. Sorry, these guys are disgusting. Jag Live. Harley is now combo Harley Duella origin.
Pretty much. That's a good call. Lane knows his stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but I get what he's saying.
Right.
Absolutely.
If you know your Nick Hardy Teen Titans, then you're picking up on this one.
Yeah. And then he says, "Man, I'm sorry I made this depressing with Marvel."
That's okay.
Blame you.
That's why we're here.
Well, Marvel made it depressing already by making us read this stuff. I mean,
You read every Marvel book this week, Sully. How are you alive?
man,
Should
my
you be in the
eyes are
hospital?
my eyes are still killing me. Either that or I'm still hungover from Wednesday. I was on
No man
vacation
should
at
be
the
put through
beach.
that. You're lucky it was a light week. It was only like 11 books instead of 24 like normal.
But I'll tell you, it's a testament of knowing what the assignment is. It's like my big phrase of the month, because Stephen Fox wrote a really good issue of X-Men 97 season 2, issue number 3. I walked into this cold, and I was completely satisfied as an X-Men fan. And then juxtapose that to Gail's, was it Uncanny 31? Was it? What a chore. It wasn't fun. Too much emphasis on the younger characters. They're at a prom. Yay. I mean, Yeezys. The annoying.
Nobody has their finger on the pulse of current day prom like a 65-year-old woman.
I
That
know.
probably never went to prom.
But tonally, it's all off. I mean, as a lifelong X-Men fan, you should be able to rely on it, as a flavor and as a flavor profile. You should be able to take a bite of this sandwich and be like, okay, you're doing something different, but it's still a really good burger. I mean, and you're not getting that satisfactory feeling out of Gail's X-Men. But you got someone like Fox who knows the
You
assignment.
want to drink it some more. You're like,
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to go back to drinking. Wasn't a bad thing to do.
I'm starting to become convinced at this point that the only reason that we have an uncanny and an adjectiveless X-Men is one is for the regular X-Men fans and the other one is for Gen Z millennial TikTokers who just want slice of life stuff.
Well, they both suck, so it doesn't matter.
But they suck in different ways.
They do suck in different ways. I'll give you that.
Yeah, at least McKay's trying. At least
Let me select from the buffet of suck. Ooh, here's a nice little flavor.
One
Ooh, this
goes
one's-
full
Which is
deep.
your preferred flavor?
All right.
One goes full deep.
This is a full-bodied suck over here. This one has notes of oak.
I know that you guys are enjoying saying the word suck and suck buffet, and it is hilarious. But he also said first pose Shalabal nothing burger. Yeah, it can't be anything. It's a tie into a movie that failed over a year ago. Well, I don't know why they're doing it.
I tell you, the
So
art was
I didn't
great.
fuck it.
I thought it was
Your
good.
favorite movie of all time, Wes?
Yeah, this guy's backpedaling like no one's business.
Marvel has done
It's
exactly
more of an
what
indictment
they
on
do.
Superman than it is a praising of.
No,
Fantastic.
if you like Superman, that'd be more of an indictment on the movie.
Marvel
fine, I guess.
keeping with its history of striking while the iron is
It's
warm.
like, yeah. A year later.
Yeah, so that happened.
The art
But
was
we
good.
did have some big rumors and stuff going out there that Marvel would discontinue publishing and it would be moving over to Webtoon by 2030 and some stuff like that. People kind of freaked out about this one. I'd already heard rumors that something was going on, and I was waiting to get the final piece of information, but not exactly what's happening. From what I'm told, Marvel will start publishing all their digital comics on Webtoon. They'll be shutting down their Marvel Unlimited app, but they will continue doing physical comic books in the near future. But certainly this will be a big deal. And Gabe, this is probably the smartest thing Marvel has done in like a decade. Like moving over to Webtoon, they have so many active users and a ton of them are in Asia. They love the digital comic books there. Their digital sales, I think, are like 2-to-1 to physical sales at this point, just as far as revenue. I think this is a really smart move. There's no reason for them to do their Marvel Unlimited app anymore. It hasn't been a big winner. There's already something out there that people are using. They just have to adapt the vertical thing to what actually Marvel does.
I agree with you for just about all of that. I think there's like some additional pieces we have to take into account. From an operational perspective, yeah, that's the right thing to do. The Marvel Unlimited is, I won't say it's DOA, but it's never the big hitter that they needed to be. When they're bringing in Abdo, Winterbomb again, they're very digitally focused, so they want digital success. If they're going to run their own app that is floundering or failing, I think its current market share is like 8%. That's not going to help anybody, especially when it's overpriced for what it gives you. It doesn't give you everything that you want, and it doesn't function particularly well. When Webtoon is already figured out, yeah, it makes sense for them to go in and put their digital stuff, not the print stuff, the digital stuff on Webtoon. That's fine, and let somebody else handle the operational burden. As long as the economics of the deal work out and whether or not how much sway they have over when does it come out, how do they get the market share, how do they get any subscription type stuff, that's all fine. And I think that's probably the best move. It's a smart move. The piece that I think people are overlooking, number one, that's not print, right? So these are not taking the print stuff and then moving into digital necessarily. It's a lot of the Marvel Digital Ultimate stuff, which is sort of one-off, standoff, and digital only kind of thing, so that you have to take into account. Second, I think people are overstating the expectations about the audience. There's something like several million people currently on Webtoon. The Webtoon audience is not a Marvel audience. And what I mean by that is the Webtoon audience is very much into the type of comics that are already persisting and succeeding on Webtoon. Lots of romance, lots of slice of life, lots of type of ongoing soap operatic type of serial storytelling. It's not the same as somebody who likes the traditional Marvel action superhero type storytelling. It's a different type of flavor. It's a different type of genre focus. And so if we go in saying, we're going to take all the digital stuff that Marvel produces and put it on Webtoon, that means they're going to have 10 million more readers. No. People read what they're interested in. So if they were interested in Marvel Digital, they would be reading Marvel Digital, but they're not. You're going to get some transference. You're going to get some overlap. It's not going to be everybody. And we have an example of this happening already. DC has already done this. They put a lot of stuff on Webtoons with a smaller partnership. But what was the big hit? It was Wayne Family Adventures, which is not at all like a typical Batman comic. It is very family relationship oriented. It's very much about Batman going through slice of life type stuff. Even though it's adventures, it's very lightweight adventures. It's not deep drama. It's not big action. You're not having Bane take over the city. It's very much about the relationships between the family members interacting with each other, exploring a little romance, exploring a little bit of that relationship drama. And that's the type of storytelling that appeals to the typical Webtoon type of reader.
Sounds like stories for girls.
I do have good news though.
I wouldn't
Marvel
put it that
doesn't
way, but
really
yeah, it's
do
probably that way.
superhero action books anymore either. So
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
which is true.
they won't have that problem.
Every issue ends with them beating the villain through the power of friendship because it's just an episode of fucking
My Little
Or the
Pony.
Care Bear stare.
My Little Pony.
Steven
Yeah.
Universe.
Or the it's
It
the
is.
Care Bear stare.
That's
It's
the
very
mentality of it.
manhwa. It's very manhwa. It's very kind of manga turned or tinted, if you will. So operationally, it makes sense. Put it where there's already success. Put it where there's already a lot of people, so you increase the probability that people are going to read it. The cost profile is a lot lower, right? So where Marvel Unlimited is charging, I forget how much they charge for a month for the.
It's like what is it, $100 a year? I think.
Yeah, it's like $100 a year, but if you just go month to month, I think it's like $10 to $12 somewhere in there. I forget what the number is off the top of my head. Webtoon is a lot less money, but they make up for it in volume. So how much of Marvel's comics that are put on Webtoon are going to take some of that traffic that's already there? Probably not as big as number of people think it. They're not all of a sudden going to magically now have 10 million readers. That's not going to happen.
No.
Because those 10 million readers read a specific type of comic that is not Marvel comics. They're different than Marvel comics. They have it's a different genre. It's a different dramatic level. It's a different focus in that the Webtoon comics are more like, again, relationship, slice of life, romance, teen drama. It's very much in that vein. So those people don't read Marvel comics. So just because you put it in front of those people doesn't mean they're going to pick it up. You have to put it, if you want a lot of readers, you got to put it in front of people who like that type of stuff. That's not the Webtoon type of audience. And so there's going to be, there will have to be, if you're going to start merging the two traffic streams together, that's going to take a long time. So again, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying there's probably a lot of truth to it. But if people have this expectation that by moving it over, all of a sudden they're going to make tons of money and now everything's going to go digital, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a long maturation and curation period for them to even get some of that traffic and then develop an audience that's consistent through it. Now, again, everything I just said has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the storytelling, right? That's just like the platform, the operations, where you put stuff. If we also now take a look at the one big piece, which is the quality of the storytelling, if you have the same people writing for Webtoon as you write for Marvel now, forget it. Just forget it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still physically ill after reading Daredevil #4 this week. It was so terrible. It was so terrible. And you put that on Webtoon, people are going to downvote that to oblivion. So you still also have to have the quality storytellers that go along with the business platform. And until you do that, it's just going to be a waste of time and energy.
I'm imagining.
Here's the thing.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Sully.
I was going to say I was imagining Daredevil in the Cal art style to sell on Webtoons, because not only it has to have that look to it too, that the aesthetic, to move on that. On that platform to be like, oh, this, that Wayne family show is like, it's cutesy.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming. Yeah.
My thoughts is this is further progression down the exact path that they've been on for the last 10 years, which is that we're no longer their audience, period. And they're going to start writing these stories the way they want to write them in the comics, but can't from the commercial aspect. Now they will have an audience for it. You're not going to see them writing. They're not going to suddenly start writing traditional superheroes. They're not writing them now. They're not writing them in that market. They're going to go even further towards the nonsense that us actual comic readers have been bitching about for the last 10 years. You're going to see them go further that way, and we're just no longer going to be their audience, period.
Let me put it like this.
They might have actually found that magical new audience.
Let me put it like this. Gail Simone's X-Men with the Outliers will probably perform better on Webtoon.
Yes, that's exactly my point.
Right. Yep. Because
I don't think that's the intent. I think that's just there. They want to move there for digital distribution.
I think it's going to actually hit better over there than it does in the, and they're going to, it'll give them the excuse to go further in that direction that they've obviously been attempting to go in for the last decade.
So I think you're misconstruing this because they brought in people to manage Marvel because a lot of the things that they've been adapting that are newer from Marvel Comics into the movies and television have not worked whatsoever. You know, your Ironheart, your Marvels, all that kind of stuff has all been flopping. I think they want to get back to stuff that potentially fuels more billion-dollar franchises.
I think that you were right in that they have that idea, but I don't think that they have any idea how to execute it. I also don't think that they're going to try to pivot back to billion-dollar ideas by going like, okay, well, what actually worked? I think what they're going to continue to do is say, well, how do we repackage the message that we're trying to put into these movies, you know, and repackage it and then get it out to this audience, and you know, how do we pivot and change from the things that aren't working, but how do we repackage what's not working to make sure that it works? Because it's not about giving you what you want. It's about giving you what they want to give you and forcing you to accept it. That's why Star Wars is the way it is. That's why the comics are the way that they are. It's like you will eventually accept this whether you like it or not. And that's going to be the goal moving forward, whether there's, you know, they want to make money or not. It's just going to be a bunch of recontextualizing the things that don't work to try to make you swallow them down.
And when it actually does succeed better on Webtoons, that'll be the justification for going further.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Doc. Prior to you quitting Marvel, and even when you weren't happy with Marvel, you were still a Marvel loyalist.
Yeah, we lost him. Okay.
Can you hear me
again? That's better.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Prior to that happening, Doc, you, as a customer, were worth 40 customers on Webtoon.
I understand that. But they will be happy to sell it to 40 different people.
I don't think that it is going to sell it to 40 different people as long as the story's stuck. Bad stories are bad stories.
But you don't understand, Wes. The people that are on Webtoon are Tumblr girls. They don't know what good stories are.
Webtoon isn't making the comics; it's distribution. They're not going to be writing Marvel comics.
And over time,
no, but they're going to start to bend to that audience. It is inevitable.
Yeah.
If it gets the views, because it is going to be more successful, writing the type of garbage that we're getting in print form, and then them distributing it on this platform. The Marvel Unlimited app, who was their target audience? The same people that were buying the comics and that might have stopped buying their comics. Webtoons, that is not the audience they're distributing to. The people like you and I, we don't go to Webtoons, but you have all the weird Tumblr girls that are already there.
It's got 170 million active users. I'm sure there's more than just like Tumblr
had a fuck ton of users too. It's why Yahoo bought it for like $4 billion before they ran it into the ground. My point is there's a large segment of the population that likes this shit. Yeah, we think that they're a bunch of fucking weirdos. It's fine. It doesn't matter. But when they release this same stuff because that matches.
Well, if there's a large segment of the audience that likes this stuff, then maybe they're making the right stuff.
I know, but they're selling it to the wrong people. And so that audience never walked into the comic shop and bought Daredevil because they had an assumption of what it was, because that's what it used to be, and they didn't want that. Now they're actually putting it in front of the audience that they've been unable to get their product in front of and that hasn't shown up for their product. Now they're sticking it in front of them.
Yeah, but they've already got Marvel comics on Webtoon and they don't do well.
Because they're releasing the older stuff on there. Now when they're the older stuff that was actually superhero comics.
You'll actually have a chance, like, okay, so for example, you've got all of these people that are like, oh, I love Magic. I love Ilyana so much. I love her. Ilyana is me. That's my character. And then Marvel goes, hey, yeah, she is really popular in Marvel Rivals, even though Tom Brevoort will tell you she's just a function and not a character in the game. So then what do? They put out a Magic book. And what happens? Nobody buys it.
Well, the Magic book,
because those people,
one of the better selling X-Men books.
It was still garbage.
Is it still going?
It's still
they canceled it inexplicably.
Yeah, there you go. See, it got canceled. So, but with Webtoon, you actually have a chance to reach that audience of girls going, Ilyana's me, I love her so much, who will never step into a comic book store.
Because they're not paying $4.99 for the fucking comic.
Mm-hmm.
They will pay the Webtoon subscription.
I don't think there's any indication out there that the Marvel new books will be available via Webtoon subscription, that you won't have to buy them.
Yeah, I was going to say, over time, it all becomes sandbagged content anyway, right? Like, 6 months from now, hey, there's your new release in the bin already. So what does that reflect on your Webtoons? Isn't just accumulating
6 months
content.
ago, Wes, there was no indication that Marvel would be moving to Webtoon. So, it's you look at the future and you project.
Well, there was
Project where it's
indications
gonna
they
go.
signed a contract with Webtoons. Actually, it was more like 9 months ago, I think, right?
All right, so a year ago, we're splitting hairs here on the time, but it's like, yeah, this isn't the way it is right this second, but you can look at the way things go and pretty much determine where it'll end up.
I don't think that
look at it from
Webtoon
the
audience is going to be driving the goals and aspirations of Marvel anything because of this deal. I think they are still going to be driven by the movie box office revenue and by Disney Plus. I think that will remain their key, their true north, where they're focused on.
Disney
I don't think
Plus,
it's going to be
a failed.
E-Girls like this, but it will never make $1 billion in a movie. Let's go with the E-Girls. I think they're like, no, I want to make another $1 billion film.
What
No,
about the last
you're probably
6
right.
years of Marvel has told you that they don't want to cater to e-girls?
Well,
What
opinions,
the last
but-
6 years of the MC of
I
the
think they're trying to
MCU?
fix that. Is my impression.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to
trying
fix
to
it. I
find a
think
way-
they have no idea how to do it, and they don't have the will to do it, because there's a
They
couple
haven't-
of things that you have to do and that you have to admit that they will never admit, because they have accepted a frame that is inherently false, and they try to force us to do it. And then we sit here on shows and we say things like, oh, we don't care if girls are doing this stuff. We just want good stories. No, you have accepted a frame that is a lie. You cannot have all of these women involved in these masculine, male-oriented industries and products and have a product come out that satisfies the male demographic. So the only choice that they have is to eventually, they're going to put it on Webtoon. It's not going to appeal to men any more than it does now.
Right.
And so they're going to have to pivot and make the comics for girls. They're just going to have to do it.
Here, Wes, there is nothing about their publishing or television strategy that says they don't want to cater to a girl audience. What they haven't been able to do is monetize a girl audience. This may be their foothold. They're kicking open the door to monetization of that girl audience. That's the point here.
Do you think
Right,
a
the
Gail
way to look at it-
Uncanny X-Men book that is popular on Webtoon will make up the difference between a real X-Men team that
Because
can
it'll get them to
potentially do
show up to the fucking movies.
$1.5 billion dollars?
Well, see,
If it gets
this
them
is
to show
direct.
up to the movies, yes.
This is this is the direct conflict that Marvel has now placed itself in by making this deal with Webtoon. And I think overall, just operationally, it's a good idea, but they have to change the content, because if you look at the comics, the print comics as they are today, they neither appeal broadly to boys or girls. They don't. That's why they're dwindling. That's why they're in a rut, because it doesn't appeal to anybody. If they take the digital version of those comics, or just digital exclusive version of those comics, and put it on Webtoon, and Winterbomb and Abdo, they are given a mandate that says you must make digital profitable and increase that market share, they're going to have to change the nature of the content to fit the platform and the audience that exists there already. To do that, they are going to have to change the comics to entice that digital Webtoon audience, which is very romance, relationship, slice of life, not at all the traditional Marvel superhero type of stuff. Now, if you look at the Marvel superhero type of stuff and how they work on digital platform, we use manga as the example. What is the closest analogous example of that? It's Shonen Jump. All the stuff that's on there, My Hero Academia, Naruto, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, all those things are the closest equivalent of what we wish Marvel still was. But all those things are on their own dedicated app. They are not on Webtoon. You don't find stories like that on Webtoon. Why? Because the shonen audience, which is primarily boys, teen to young adult, don't go to Webtoon. That is not the type of content they look for when they go there. They don't go there at all because they know that content exists. So if Marvel wants to move to Webtoon for the digital-only content, which is fine operationally, again, I think it makes sense instead of running their own app, they're going to have to change the nature of their digital content to match the audience to bring them in. And that means it's going to be more just, I hate to, kind of pigeonhole it, but it's going to have to be more female centric. It's going to have to be more relationship focused. It's not going to be the classic action adventure superhero stuff. Again, that's digital only. Print can be different. Print can be
Print's
completely
dying,
different.
right?
But
I don't think they're going to be doing like digital only like books as much. I think it's just going to be
they do that now.
It's going to be on Webtoon. Yeah, but
the digital exclusives, that's what they are now, and they're just trying to do more of that. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Do you think X-Men Green would be successful on Webtoon?
Yes.
A bad book is a bad book.
I think it'd be more successful than it is in print.
It would have found
that's all that matters.
There. It would have found its audience there.
That's what we said earlier. Gail Simone's adjectiveless X-Men probably plays better on Webtoon than it does in print right now.
We think it's Wes. We think it's shit. And objectively,
anybody that reads it thinks it's shit. Bad is bad.
Objectively, it is. But you're now going to an audience that has no fucking taste.
Yeah.
That's the milking stool audience?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes, it is.
Well, I would say no.
Minotaur Milking Farm.
Yeah.
As long as it's
taste.
weird and perverse, they'll love it.
You can have yours, and Eric Larson can't have his. The irony.
Savage Dragon's on Webtoon.
Absolutely should.
Whoever has the money has the taste.
Except the problem is that all of Eric Larson's kinks are heterosexual, so they're not going to play as well on Webtoon.
So
yes.
So for us who like superhero comics, it's terrible. For the Webtoon audience who likes, the outliers and all their weird kind of strange relationship type stuff that's going on, and their sort of neurodivergent Gen Z type of personalities and all this other stuff going on. That stuff sells like hotcakes on something like Webtoons. They're going to eat that up.
Dylan,
now,
is this
you
true?
still have to make some adjustments.
You're the representative of the younger generation.
He's not that young.
Which aspect are we talking about here?
Yeah, terrible. But the point is, if they want it, if Winterbond is given a mandate to make digital profitable and increase its market share, and his path to do that is to move to Webtoon, he can do that, but but the content has to change to match the audience, because that audience is not a classic Claremont era Marvel superhero type of audience
anymore, right?
It's not.
Yeah.
And so is
that true, Dylan? Are they going to have to revamp and change the way Marvel comics are constructed for Webtoon?
I guess. I don't know what Webtoon's audience likes. I don't read Webtoons. I don't know anyone that reads Webtoons.
Gay bullshit is what they
the
like.
only guy on the panel that might have read them. Come on, man.
Oh.
No, but the DC did the example. DC did it. They had a hit on their hands. And what was the hit? Wayne Family Adventures, which is not at all what anybody would characterize as a classic Batman story.
Right. Yeah. And it's cute.
That one did perform better than any of the Marvel stuff.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
So
because it caters to the audience,
and it makes me want to punch a baby in the face. So we're not the audience anymore.
One like that.
It caters to the Webtoon audience. The Webtoon audience is not the classic Big Two audience. It's a completely different
reads Webtoon, and she loves superhero books. So does JK.
AL is an
okay. This is like the Catherine Bigelow argument when I said, like, they can't do these. And what about Catherine Bigelow?
You found one women example in a haystack. Films. I was like, what about Catherine Bigelow? She's a great action film director.
You found one. You found one.
Women
Good
can't
job.
write. I say, Karen Travis is your favorite Star Wars writer. What are you talking about?
No, I didn't say they can't write. I said that things need to be based on merit. And when you look at all of the merit available, it's going to weigh heavier it's going to weigh much heavier with men writing stories for men.
Not going to happen, though. I think
Occasionally, you
Gabe's
will
right.
have somebody like a Karen Travis who is a war correspondent and kind of understands like what it is that
Anna
motivates
Nagara's
men.
the next Karen Travis, dude.
Oh, man.
Plus, Gabe may be right. I mean,
You know what-
he's reminding me of something. Like, Gabe, you reminded me of a quote, a 40-year-old quote from a magazine publisher. Now, these are my magazine publishings. They're just on a digital platform, but they're still periodicals in a way. It was Bob Guccione Jr. of Spin Magazine, and he said that teenage girls run the world. And he was talking about because they have the most disposable income. And
What?
So yeah, well, I mean, about throwing money at things you
just
can make a lot of money.
wasting
Yeah.
Tell them to go
give
talk
my
to Todd
sons any
McFarlane
money
about
whatsoever. I guarantee you, Gabe just gives his girls $100 bills every day.
Or does that go to Starbucks, or does it depends on where that revenue stream goes, but it's all coming through that I was going to say the hose, but I didn't want to do a homonym there, but I mean, teenage girls run the world, or women run the world. Like Beyonce was right. They make a lot of money. They spend a lot of money.
Well, no, Beyonce's not actually right. Actually, a cabal of secret, blood drinking Satanist, they run the world. But
PDF files.
Put it a different way. A middle-aged man with gray hair who has disposable income is not going to go to Webtoon. He's going to spend his money on more variant covers for X-Men.
If they're available, the way you guys say it, that would be the end of publishing.
Yeah, and you know what?
Drive off all the collectors and speculators.
And if they do, those people's money will just end up on back issues or on video games or G.I. Joe classifieds, like fucking myself.
And listen, ultimately, hey, this wouldn't be a problem. Like if you actually could capture a new audience, if they were bringing in all these new readers that they thought they were going to get, that you'd be like, yeah, well, it was a sound business decision, wasn't it? But it's like, because eventually, we are aging out of this. It's like Dylan is granted, luckily Dylan has taste as a young man, and he's like, yeah, no, these books are good and these books are crap. But for the most part, would you really have read Batman into your 60s, Wes? Even if it was great,
I'm close. I'm playing it. You're not going to read Batman.
I think it's the end of the day.
I'm not reading Batman now. I've left it behind.
We do have to recognize that these companies have no loyalty to us. They are businesses. They are corporations with no loyalty to any particular audience. It is whatever is going to generate them the most revenue. And if they're able to actually monetize this new audience that they believe is out there, and they've been targeting for the last 10 years, almost 15 years, then if they're able to finally monetize them and it brings them more revenue than going for what they were doing even in the 90s or the early 2000s by focusing on a male audience, then that's what they need to do for their shareholders. Unfortunately, that's the situation we're in. Do I like that? No. It fucking sucks. It sucks that the thing that I used to like, but it's the same as the auto industry. For how many decades did they focus on 18 to 35-year-old men with decent money, and then 35 to 70-year-old men that liked working on their cars? And do you know what what the entire auto industry has pivoted to? Electric, which you can't fucking work on.
Oh, I wouldn't drive an electric car because that's just me.
I
get what you're saying, Doc. But
the entire
ESPN,
yeah.
a product completely aimed at a male audience, just sports content and all that kind of stuff. And you notice, like 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, all of a sudden there's all these weird, like heartfelt, like pieces on SportsCenter. You're like, why is this here? This has nothing to do with the game. And it was all out there to find the female audience for ESPN as well. But it ended up driving off all the people that made them money. And now they're trying to get them back because they realized it was a huge mistake.
Oh,
and that's exactly the point, is you can't, one audience is not the same as another audience. They're not They're not the same. And so if you take this a step further, let's say they do this. Marvel gets into this relationship with Webtoon. They already have a relationship, but let's see if they go all in.
They are getting into a relationship with Webtoon. They are going to go.
No, but I mean, as far as shutting down Marvel Unlimited and going all in with the Webtoon and just that is their platform.
That's happening.
That's happening.
Right now they're just touching tips.
And let's say Larson speak, love it. So let's say they do that, and let's say they're able to turn around. They change the content. They make their digital only strategy more, focused for the typical Webtoon audience, and now they're in competition because digital now is in competition with print. If that happens, I'm not saying print goes away. I'm saying that in and of itself will probably be the biggest threat to continue.
I think you're making a huge mistake there. I don't think there's going to be two products. There's not going to be a Webtoon product and a print product. There's going to be.
I think there will be,
and it's going to be available digitally on Webtoon.
I think they're going to segment. I think they're going to segment. I think they're going to segregate.
I think that's the people that are doing it. That's not the plan.
I'm fairly convinced that strategy. They're saying that now, but their strategy, once they get into the reality of it, is going to change. They're going to see that the people who buy print, are not the people who go to Webtoon. It's a different audience, and they're going to see that really quick, and they're going to have to pivot. And when they pivot, they're going to realize that they have to basically create two types of comics.
Wes, you're definitely at least partially wrong here. There is two products because there's already two products. There's the Marvel Unlimited exclusives. Those they do shit on in print. They do garbage in print. X-Men Green, that fucking one where Wolverine fell out of the sky for 6 issues.
What was the one they just did? That was the Iceman one that they just put in. That was digital only. That was terrible.
And it wastes paper. It wastes shelf space. I mean, seriously, why even bother printing?
But it's going on at a time compared to the 80 going on in Marvel Comics.
I understand that, but you're looking at as if everything as business is going to remain in a time capsule. If they release that terrible fucking Iceman book on Marvel Unlimited, it does, I don't know, a couple of views. You release that same one on Webtoons, it now does tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. Now, when they release, and then they start seeing, because they're able to compare apples to apples, what these different audiences, because you're going to make the same garbage that they made for Unlimited, and then, because then a year later, they fucking release it in print.
But you're making the case that they should replace this, Doc, because there's this bigger audience just waiting for it.
I'm saying that this is their best opportunity to monetize the audience that they've been trying to get for 15 years. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And if it's successful, you will see a corporate pivot in that direction.
If it's successful, you'll be right back. You'll be right back to Wolverine and Jean and Cyclops in a throuple. That's what you'll be back for.
If it's successful, I'll be making videos on how to go to sleep on YouTube.
Yes.
Now you have the subtle dusted tones of a creek in California.
Right. I mean, think about it this way. This is the logical conclusion of writing for the new audience that never shows up. That's because the audience that never shows up is on Webtoon, and they have their own brand and flavor of things that they like. So if you take the comics that are written for a new audience or the so-called new generation and put it where they are, they'd probably do better. But what that means is once they start seeing the numbers, if it turns out to be successful, they're going to realize, we either have to write this way or we have to write that way. If we have to write that way, we're writing for middle-aged guys with disposable income that buy dozens of variant covers, and they just want things the old way. If we want the new way, whereas we have tens of, maybe even hundreds of thousands of viewers on a digital platform, we have to write the other way. And the other way is completely abhorrent to the traditional Marvel
audience A.
Antithetical.
Right. But for us, it's a win-win because we're writing to the audience that we want to anyway, and we're getting to indoctrinate them, which is the whole point.
But here's the thing: if that works out that way, this is all hypothetical. But if it works out that way, and the Webtoon deal with increasing an audience and getting lots of digital likes and maybe even getting some subscription revenue from it all pans out and starts to increase their market share, in my opinion, this is tea leaves, it's the crystal ball, that is the biggest threat to the print side of the house, because eventually it's going to get to a point where we say we can do digital cheaper because we don't have to do variant covers, we don't have to do printing, we don't have to do shipping, we don't have to deal with the direct market, and we're getting all of these views, we're getting all these subscriptions, and we're now being competitive on this side. Why the heck are we still doing print over here, and when we can do it cheaper, faster, and with less headache? And that's going. I'm not saying that again. I'm not saying print goes away. I'm saying that if they make that
Next
work,
thing you know, we're all talking about Youngblood because it's the only physical comic
because
book
it's
out
the
there.
only fucking we're
gonna get to that
Savage Dragon.
We're
Being
talking
success-
Skybound.
What I'm saying is, in a nutshell, success on Webtoon, if they make it work and they make it work well, is the biggest threat to print Marvel comics.
The nice thing about just talking about Youngblood is we could just record one video and then just replay it for each issue, because it'd be like,
Whatever,
hey, did
dude.
you like when they jumped out of the plane onto that?
Liefeld C cover, yo.
They jumped out of the plane onto that surface that had no backgrounds. You know, it's on the sea so that there's no backgrounds, and they're fighting on a boat. And then we got 3 close-up shots of Shaft's face that are almost identical. And then a tiny little action panel, and then at the end of the issue, a Deadpool or a Cable showed up to save the day.
Listen.
For the people,
Nobody knows the comic industry better than Rob Liefeld.
Well, he is a master storyteller, according to him.
Hold on. Sadel says it lets Marvel drones like Doc try peak comics like Return of the Crazy Demon. By the way, I have 200 plus omnibus absolutes and follow 200 plus Korean manhwa. See, Doc, it's going to open doors. You're going to get to read Return of the Demon.
Yeah. It's gonna it will let me just spend all of my money on not new product.
Yeah, you just pay for the subscription.
Yeah, I'm gonna not, but then they're just gonna start that other stuff. Honestly, they might even start memory holing some of their old stuff.
Man, you guys are really doom and gloom on this one.
Yeah.
Dylan, are you with me? You're going to come join the Webtoon family?
Oh no.
I don't care about webtoons.
You notice how quiet Dylan has been through this whole topic? It's like he can give a shit.
Pretty much.
What do you think?
Listen to all
DC
these
Comics?
old
You think
morning
DC isn't
people
gonna go over to Webtoon after this?
I mean, doesn't feel like it for right now.
We should all sign up for
Dude, we could make a guild on Webtoon.
Oh my god, that's not how that works.
We're back to guilds.
We could all do adventures together. It says there are manhwa webtoons that aren't all cutesy stuff. The tutorial is too tough on Tapas, for example, has developed into an incredible Silver Age All-Star Superman type story. Yeah, see, like not everything on Webtoons could be like that. I know Common America does a lot of material on Webtoon as well.
Common America is a book for girls.
Well, it's a superhero book
It's a superhero book, but it appeals to girls.
And men. Yeah,
It's like Sailor Moon.
Pretty good.
It's like Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sandals isn't wrong, but the exception does not disprove the rule.
It
Yeah,
does.
there's more than just like.
Come on, what are you talking about, Gabe? Catherine Bigelow is an excellent action director.
I was about to say, that's like a Wes staple of the exception does disprove the rule. That's like Wes's go-to.
Well, everybody here speaks on absolutes. Well, you gotta leave a
Because
little room there.
99
And
hey every that's like saying that we're either men or women because 0.001 are born hermaphroditic. Like, no,
Doc, how could you say these things? Have you ever used Webtoon, Doc?
Yeah, I've tried it. It
Oh,
was
well, you've
not
done more
fun.
than me
I
then.
did
Never mind.
yes.
Have you
I
shown
tried
a
it years ago
The gold state.
because a dude that I knew, a dude that I grew up with, had done a thing on Webtoon before it became like a sci-fi series of webisodes, like on the Sci-Fi Channel, like 15 years ago. And I wanted to check out the comic, the Webtoon comic that it was based off of. So I had tried it then. So it's been like 15
I
years.
know Neon had some Webtoon comic books as well. It's not like
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows a lot about that.
yeah. There's been plenty of stuff over there. I'm sure it has a little bit wider audience than we're giving it. But Doc, I guess, would know better than I have because I've used Shonen Jump, but not Webtoon. Shonen Jump,
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely
look,
fantastic.
it has a slightly it has a slightly bigger appeal, but 95% of the like big view books or like stories on there are Tumblr girl chick crap that I have
That's
no
not
real
what
interest
Lord
in.
Olympus, I think, is the biggest book on Webtoon, and that's not what that is.
The exception,
Honestly,
does
I
not
can't
disprove
tell
the
you.
rule.
No,
Yeah,
but it's
I
the
know.
biggest book.
Okay,
At least the
one.
Okay, so
if-
what Batman book, what Spider-Man book, what which one is going to compete with
Here.
Lore Olympus?
My question.
Oh shit, dude! You
my
throw fucking
question
Hush in
for-
there. Everybody want to read that. Best-
My
best
question for
illustrated book
Wes
ever.
is so by Wes's logic, when Spawn 300 was the #1 book on the market, Image Comics was the biggest publisher, and
No, you're
Supernatural
saying
horror
all the
was the
most
biggest
popular books on
genre in-
Webtoon.
No,
are
no, I said
cutesy, like, Hello Kitty
95%.
books, and I'm
I
saying
said 95% of the big books. That's
I don't know.
95%.
I just know a couple of the bigger books that have
See,
been printed out.
AL just said Lore Olympus, Wes. That's a chick book.
It probably is a chick book, but I don't think it's like Hello Kitty. I think there's some action stuff in there. Isn't it like a big sci-fi book?
I like that no one knows anything they're talking
don't-
about right now,
I
but
don't-
everyone's talking passionately about it. It's great. No one has any
Yes!
idea, but everyone's
Look, I
like,
don't know- I don't
I
know what-
believe this. Don't know, but I believe it very
Hey, I'm
passionately.
taking I didn't have an opinion on Lore Olympus one way or the other. I'm going with
don't-
AL's opinion. She knows.
Maybe it
I
is a
don't know
chick
what-
book. I figured it was action. And a good name.
It is a good name. I will say that. A good title. A good title is half the battle.
I
Absolutely.
just Googled it, and yeah, it doesn't look like a book for fellows at all.
Oh,
This
Yeah.
looks like the definition of a chick book. Yeah, oh my, this is a
I
romance.
don't know,
book,
dude.
like,
I'm
full
looking
on.
at it. It looks pretty beefy there to me.
I mean, yeah, if you like your Virgin River, this looks right up your alley.
Yeah, like Virgin River with aliens. I'm kind of digging
Slut
this.
Creek.
I might have to read it. But okay, on further review, Lore Olympus, definitely a chick book.
Yeah,
Whoops.
but my point. That's my point here. Like that's if that's their audience, that's wonderful. I'm super happy for them. I want them to be successful. It's apparently not going to be with me anymore. That's
As
fine.
he said,
Yeah.
this conversation is why I always say the readers of U.S. comics don't want to fix the industry, because to sell to millions every month, you need to make mass normie media again.
They got a point in a way. Yeah.
Again, that's. I mean, if the normie taste has spread so far away from what I want, then
I don't know that
then-
it has. There's been 2 $3 billion movies in the history of the world. One of them is Avengers Endgame, correct?
Yes,
yeah.
That feels pretty mainstream and normie to me.
and they killed it.
I
They
yeah,
killed it.
and
They
then-
can't get
and
it
then they-
back. Because what was the
Yeah.
big idea after Endgame? Well, you know what we'll do? We'll make the Marvel Universe more than 50% women, and that'll bring in the female audience. Then we'll make $4 billion.
Yeah, but they've done multiple billion-dollar movies since then. You know, the Spider-Man, was it? No Way Home
Spider-Man's
did
not
it?
a Marvel movie.
Spider-Man doesn't count.
It's in the MCU. Deadpool, Wolverine,
It's a Sony film. It's a
but
Fox
it's in the
film.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Deadpool, Wolverine. Just because they acquired these things after the fact doesn't make them. It's like, oh, the Deadpool, Wolverine. Yeah, good job. Like that was gonna happen
Doctor
whether
Strange
you did it or not.
$900 million, but even the stuff that
Doctor
happened
Strange
then
was still writing off of Endgame, and people hated that movie. That was
No,
the
but
beginning
my
of the
point
end.
is that stuff is still doing better than anything that's been like adapted from Webtoon.
Yeah, we're
right?
still reeling from Fantastic Four's box office. That was crazy.
Yeah,
The
that's
Superman
like saying-
box office was wild. Oh man, Supergirl killing it right now, killing it.
That's like saying Amazing Spider-Man is still a fantastic comic because it's Marvel's #1 bestseller right now.
Is it?
It's close to it, if not regularly
Probably the
up
top
there.
5.
Now it was getting beaten out by Ultimate Spider-Man, but Ultimate Spider-Man's done, so ASM is still up there right now. So the you have to take into account the loyalty
Context.
factor. People will just follow Spider-Man because it's Spider-Man, regardless.
And that's
of the
why
content.
that's why Multiverse of Madness made what it did, is because there was still some loyalty factor. And Marvel has killed that over time, and now there's no loyalty factor, and that's why Thunderbolts comes out and it flops. That's why Fantastic Four comes out and it flops. You know, it's like people just aren't invested anymore.
They look the Marvel comics and the superhero industry built up a bank account of goodwill, and then for the last 15 years they've been spending it. They haven't been replenishing it, they've just been spending it. Same with since Endgame, they've just been spending that bank account. Eventually it runs to zero. That's where they're at. That's where they're directed to.
He says, we've all forgotten that when DC and Marvel sold millions of copies a month to normies, they could afford to hire legendary creators and take chances.
Yeah, well, we talk about the
also
spiral all the time. We talk about the fact that, you know, hey, what's the spiral? The spiral is, hey, the books aren't very good, so sales drop. So what do we need to do? We raise the prices. We chase off more customers. Oh man, you know, we're once again we're not doing that great. Well, you know what? Cut costs, hire lesser writers, hire lesser artists. Customers go away. What do we need to do to make up for that? Oh, we need to raise prices again. You know, you're just continually milking the same audience, but it keeps shrinking because you're not giving them what they want. It's too expensive, and you're not giving them anything worth their money.
And you're spending that loyalty account down to zero. That's really what it builds up to. It's a money game.
Look, Perch hates the X-Men books. He still buys X-Men. Why? Because they're spending that loyalty.
Masochist.
He's a masochist. You know, it's like he's got the disposable income. He's like, oh, whatever. I might as well.
It's a habit.
Might as well have these. Yeah,
it's a habit purchase. And what happens? What would we see during COVID? And what do we see during other significant events where there's a change? Is if you give somebody an excuse to break the habit, even just for a brief period of time, they're done. They're out.
It's the same with, and it's the exact same with their variant schemes, with their relaunch schemes. All those other things are they're giving people the opportunity to reevaluate continuing purchase. It basically is like a subscription. It's the reason why Netflix has never asked you if you want to continue your subscription. They never will. The entire gym industry is built on making people never reevaluate that purchase.
Then he says, I will personally vet and recommend Webtoons for Doc. Dude, he's willing to bite the bullet for you and find the stuff that you like.
I don't like, honestly, I am not a huge fan of the digital format of reading. I like holding things in my hand. So honestly, I'm never going to be their target audience, regardless of the content. It was the reason why it was so hard for me to read. And while I really, really liked it, the John Byrne Elsewhen, whenever he was releasing it, I enjoyed reading it, but I hated reading it because I had to read it digital. Yep. Now I got that hard. I have a fucking tablet. I still hate reading it digital.
Yeah, I do too. I don't even like shit. I have to read comics digitally all the time for work because that's how they're produced before they go to print. Is I have to read all the digital files. I don't like it. It's my job. I wish, it doesn't make any sense, but if it was printed and I could read it and then give all my notes, I'd be much happier. But that's not the way it works. So when I don't want to go do that in my spare time with the comics that I'm supposed to be enjoying.
Back in the 70s and 80s, in the 60s, everything up until like the early 2000s, the late 90s, that was literally what the ash can was. It was a mini printed version for the editors to read before it went to production. And then they'd throw it away. That's why it was called an ash can, because it went into the trash can. And so they read it because they didn't have digital back then to read it on. So now that it's digital, it fucking sucks for them, as a reader. But now I pick up that Elsewhen hardcover.
Yeah,
I fucking love it.
Rate that 7. The key might be to have 2 separate lines of digital Marvel superhero books. one for girls, one for boys.
Oh no, it's the manga model.
We can't do that.
No,
That makes
it's
too much
mega
sense.
model.
No, Aaron Sparrow is right about this. It's everything is being corralled into girls' content, and boys can enjoy it or have nothing. It's like the Boy Scouts. Look, there's no Boy Scouts of America anymore. It's now Scouting of America. Yet the Girl Scouts of America remain. It's that now. Take that, put that on every single one of the realms of entertainment that we talked about today, and it's all there. The Webtoons argument, you know what I mean? Just like all the fandoms. There you go. It's the same. It's turtles
You
all
can
the way down.
enjoy the stuff for girls, or you can fuck off to irrelevancy.
Right, or be an incel.
Yeah.
That's your choice. There's your binary.
The question that no one's asking is, when you take away everything that men like, particularly young men, what happens to society? The things that you use to distract them from how badly they're getting screwed. What happens when all those things are gone?
I'm
They
not
won't
holding
like
doors
that
open
answer.
anymore. I can tell you that. I'm out.
I can
I'm
tell
not
you.
gonna
I
say
can
thank
tell
you.
you that. I can tell you that society and corporations are not going to like the answer to this.
Then we
They
got
already
Sable.
don't like it because they're like, where are the men? Why aren't the men showing up for these things that we're giving you? We gave you Supergirl. Why didn't you show up, men? Well, we did. We were the majority of the audience, but you know.
Sadel says making Marvel compete will lead to better books. I believe it.
It'll, but again, define what
My sweet
kind
summer
of better.
child.
Define what kind of better. Better for whom? Better for Marvel and their revenue, but not necessarily for the reader.
I mean,
Chris,
potentially
827.
a better fit for the audience might be a better way to look at it.
Chris 827. Hey aficionados, do you think Marvel asked Todd McFarlane to draw ASM 1000 variant cover? I think Todd has specifically said they didn't he?
I don't recall whether or not Todd even. I think he said something, but I don't remember what he said.
I mean,
I don't
what
believe
a
they did. They
what a
should've.
dumb oversight.
Sully, what are you
If they
taking
didn't,
pictures of?
they're
Are you
fucking
taking pictures of
retarded.
us?
No, yeah, my uncle's calling me, and I'm like, dude, I'm on the show.
Oh,
Like,
tune
what
in.
you doing? He wants to
Or
call
wait.
and talk to me, and he was, I love you, Uncle Brian, but I'm on the show.
But I don't think they did approach me. I think they left a lot of money on the table. People were hoping for a Todd McFarlane ASM 1000 something, right?
Well,
Yeah.
you have to assume that the assistant, first of all, the assistant editor who, was probably in charge of reaching out to people, they would need to know who Todd McFarlane was, which, I'm not convinced that any of the assistant editors working at Marvel know who any of the old school, creators that sold.
Creatives.
I don't think they know who they are.
They're like, he
Mr.
didn't do a variant cover it for us last month, did he?
Mr. DC Comics, with Blu-ray movies going away for streaming, now video games removing CDs for gaming, are books the last holdout? Will books eventually go away?
I don't
Yes.
know. No. Okay. Let's
No, they
frame it. Okay. Yesterday, was released upon the world was the new Rolling Stones album called Foreign Tongues. 14 tracks of great music. I bought one on compact disc for $21.96. You know what I
I
mean? So
understand.
it's
Once
still
again,
out there, it's still a niche.
you're pulling a Wes of the exception that somehow disproves the rule.
I think
yes,
we're going to a
they-
paperless society.
We are
We got to
going
save
to
the trees by doing more lithium
No,
batteries.
No, that's not why. It's not about saving the trees. It's about when it's digital, we can change it at any moment. We can
Yeah,
change
true,
the
too.
message when it becomes inconvenient. We don't want you reading 1984. We don't want you reading Animal Farm. Hey, watch this digital version of Animal Farm where capitalism is the villain, not communism. Communism is good. That's the reason they want to move to a digital society.
Yeah, and additionally, it aligns with UN Agenda 21 and UN Agenda 2030 goals of you will own nothing and you will love it. Because when you own physical property,
Fahrenheit 451.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Fahrenheit 451. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to get there. Comic books might be one of the last holdouts, Al, because there is a collectability value to them that a lot of other things don't have. Federico De La Casa. I watched Perch about Webtoon, and he says that no way Marvel will leave physical media. Here, I see that only us old nerds keep the market alive. Here, I believe he's talking about Italy. But I don't think there's like no way ever. I think eventually that probably will happen, but I don't think that this deal is what that is about.
No, it's not directly about that, but that's the second, third order effects down the line if this is a successful deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it's not impossible ever. It's the idea that it's not likely or even remotely possible today with the numbers as they are today. But like we said earlier, if Webtoon pans out, becomes competitive, and becomes profitable in a competitive way, I think that opinions might start to change on that.
They will eventually follow the money.
Yep.
And if the money goes that
and
way,
again, this
so
goes
does the
hand in
product.
this goes hand in hand with what Marvel has been talking about for years now, and which gets closer every single year, which is when they just farm out these things to somebody else. And it's much easier to do when you're just putting stuff on Webtoon. You don't have to have a bullpen. You don't have to have, a bunch of editors. You just need one brand manager, and maybe an assistant who sees things coming in and then approves them so that they can go up on Webtoon.
Matthew Ledbetter. Am I the only one who's annoyed that the Rocketeer uses a German Mauser pistol? He should only use American guns. A Colt 45 would be more appropriate.
Yeah, but the Mauser looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cooler. It looks better.
Yeah.
1911 is so cool.
I mean, but there's a reason that even like Cobra Commander has a Luger. It's just because it looks cool.
Mm.
You're the one reading
And probably
the
pretty easy to
Rocketeer
draw.
books, Gabe. Does it bother you?
Not the least. No. Especially because it's very common that, if we're talking about the period piece where the things are happening during World War II, it would be very common for him to just, if he's taking down an enemy, he'll confiscate the enemy's weapon and he'll use it, and he'll just keep using whatever.
Yeah.
And if he's behind enemy lines, ammunition for the Mauser would be a lot more easy to come by.
I'm saying is if the Rocketeer was a patriot, he'd be buying fucking American, is what I'm saying.
And when he can't get ammunition for said American gun behind enemy lines, that becomes a fucking problem.
Mm. That's why you need a Russian revolver that can accept many types of cartridges. Tovarich.
Russian guns are notoriously shitty, except for maybe the AK-47.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, other than the AK, yeah. Everything else, you breathe on it wrong and it's garbage.
Yeah. Sandals putting themselves side by side with Mama also makes the big two realize they can publish medical, business, sport, etc. stories again. So you think that it'll open up genres, which I do think could be a good thing for Marvel and DC. There are more genres out there than superheroes. In fact, Dylan and I were just talking about all the great genres out there. I wouldn't mind seeing Marvel and DC do some more crime, some more war books, some more horror and stuff, dude.
I mean, it might be the way that they could attract somebody like Ed Brubaker to come back if he got to do a.
I don't know that he needs to. He's already got his deal with Amazon.
He doesn't need the money that bad. And they wouldn't pay him either.
But you also have to think about what is the end goal with doing that. So let's say they start a crime imprint. Okay, fine, sure. If the whole idea is to create synergy with the MCU and the broader Disney palette, where does that sit in there?
Well, it could be their new
for right now, it doesn't.
Creating new stuff to make things about.
It works only for as just IP farm for Disney studios and all of their subsidiary studios. That just makes Marvel into another Disney.
I got it. Frank Miller's Darkwing Duck. Come on. Who's in? I am.
Dude. I don't want to hear Aaron crap all over Frank Miller.
Think about it, man. Frank Miller's Darkwing Duck.
I wouldn't.
Gabe gets it a 9.5 out of 10, and then Sparrow's just crapping on him for a year for not understanding Darkwing.
Look,
well,
I will concede Aaron knows Darkwing Duck better than I do by a mile, and I'm okay with being okay with that. So I yield to Aaron on that one.
Frederick de la Casa it's not only a lack of top creators, it's a lack of new ideas. Like Warren Ellis when he did the Extremis armor on Iron Man. Like, when will we have a new idea now?
I don't know when they're done doing everyone. When the cult of Grant Morrison's X-Men finally leaves the comic industry, where they're just no longer just doing somebody else's greatest hits.
I don't know, it feels like we got a new idea right now, Dylan, on Aquaman, right? Nobody's really done that with Aquaman.
Yeah, I thought he's maybe talking about Marvel, but yeah, I'd say we get some new ideas. Like Infernal Hulk is a different type of story we're getting right now. I'd say that's a new idea. We get some, it's more of a few and far in between, I'd say. But yeah, we still get some new ideas. At Marvel, less so, but
I think it's simpler than that. I mean, you'll get new ideas when you pay for them. Right now, Marvel doesn't pay for nothing. Their page rates are garbage, and they don't do any deals with people with royalties or anything like that, or very rarely, unless you're a top tier creator. So if you want new ideas, you have to pay for them. And until Marvel undoes those purse strings, you're not going to see anything.
Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. If an artist is attached to a crowdfunding project and they wind up leaving the project before it gets completed, do you think the backers are entitled to a refund?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm experiencing this now with one of the crowdfunders I backed, and the writer has gone out and got a new artist at his own expense. That's one way to take. At least he's.
I treat it as it's a bait and switch. Now, it might not have been an intentional one, but you evaluated your purchase based on information provided. It's kind of like when Marvel and DC solicit a title and then you end up with, I mean, it's one thing when it's a fill-in artist for one issue, but if they are announcing the launch of some project, like an Alex Ross, Fantastic Four first, full circle, and then it gets released with Igor Cordy, I'd be like, fuck no, I'm not following through with this purchase. I pre-ordered under the expectation I was getting Alex Ross. You gave me Igor fucking Cordy. No.
I feel like supporting crowdfunding is different than buying a Marvel book off the shelf.
No, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I'll take a car, for example. They announce a new vehicle, a new Ferrari, and it's going to be 800 horsepower. It's going to be all this. It's going to have everything. It's going to be naturally aspirated. And then they come out with an electric car.
Well,
okay, I was on the list.
What if they promised a designer and then they brought in a different designer to finish the car off? Like, wait, this is supposed to be an Adrian Newey car.
Yeah, I mean, like, if they announce Gordon Murray is going to be designing the fucking car, and then it's somebody else, again, I don't want it if I'm not getting a Gordon Murray car.
Yeah, like if you went to
name.
If you love Madonna and Madonna's doing a concert, you're like, oh, I love Madonna. I don't know why you would, but it's like I've got tickets to go see Madonna, and then you show up and it's Tina Yothers from Family Ties as Madonna. You're gonna want your money back.
I want my fucking money back.
I think crowdfunding is a little bit different. I don't think that backers are entitled maybe to a refund, but I do think it would.
He didn't say entitled. He said should they, and yes, I believe they should.
Do you believe backers are entitled? I don't think that they are entitled to a refund, but I do think the person that created the project should offer a refund.
Maybe
some people might have supported the book just for that person.
Maybe they're entitled to the option.
Well, then there's no problem. There's no problem offering a refund then, because if they supported it for you, then they will still stick with their order, even though the artist has been replaced.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that they're entitled to the refund, but I think that they should offer one.
Are we talking like legally entitled? I think that they're morally entitled.
Maybe there's a fundamental misunderstanding about backing a project. We're more of a patron of the arts, and we get a reward. We are not directly buying a comic book from.
Nobody goes into a Kickstarter thinking that they're a patron of the. No one goes into it thinking that.
Yeah, nobody goes to Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and offers to back a project with an uncertain expectation they'll ever get what they put money into.
Okay, this is the thing. When I'm backing something on Kickstarter or Patreon, or I mean Kickstarter or Indiegogo, I'm expecting a product. When I'm on Patreon and I'm backing a creative and giving them money monthly, I don't necessarily, because honestly, it was one of the, like, I back Brett Booth. I did back the guys over at Rags for a number of years until I stopped getting, like, for a year. They made a promise of giving product, and then I didn't get it for like a year. So I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking done now.
I think on the site you have terms of service, and if you were entitled to a refund because of the terms of service, then you're entitled to it. But I don't think that would be in there. But I'd have to read up on it more, I guess.
I think if you were interested in all in customer service and in servicing your, in doing the right thing, I think that yes, you offer a refund if that happens.
Yes, I think morally you should offer the refund. But it depends on the terms of service whether or not you
don't get to be Darth Vader. You don't get to say, I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
That was cool. Interesting. And then Sandal says, Ablaze is starting to print manhwa books or not. Ablaze has been doing some really cool stuff where they were taking European comics and adapting them to English, and now they've been going and grabbing more manga and manhwa as well.
Yeah, if you like, very action-oriented, hard-hitting, very kind of macho. I mean, The Breaker, they've been publishing The Breaker volumes for a couple of years now at this point. So, yeah, they're all in on doing that type of stuff. It's just a question of finding their audience because Ablaze's publishing cycle is a little hit or miss.
Yeah, but when you can get a hold of them, they're really, really good. I would definitely recommend that to anybody, not just the manhwa stuff. I grabbed their European books too. They had a really great Sumerian Conan books there for a while too. And then Sadles, Korean webtoons made for women actually understand their audience. They'll leave Marvel's crass writing, boxy shoulders, and side buzz cuts in the dust. Marvel will have to lead her. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. I believe that's what will happen, is that quality always wins out. And if you go to a webtoon, if that's really most of what they offer, you're going to be competing with people that are specifically targeting that audience and are probably doing it better. So they have to up their game or figure out what they're doing.
Let me put it a different way. This whole debacle about keeping Peter and MJ separated and people complaining about that for 20 years right now, that would not fly in Webtoon.
No, if you get already stopped reading.
Yeah, they would scream bloody murder and would not stop relentlessly for 24/7. That whole editorial resistance to what the audience wants absolutely does not exist on Webtoon. When the audience feels like they're getting disrespected or being put off or being resisted, they leave, and that's it.
Oh, so maybe Nick Lowe will finally be fired.
I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of heavy hitters. I'm not sure about Nick Lowe, but I don't think you'll see C.B. Cebulski and a couple other people at Marvel Comics in about 12 months.
Well, I mean, I would love to see Tom Brevoort get future endeavored.
I've heard the name brought up in that conversation, but it's not looking great for their future prospects at Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
Well, he already only held on to his job because Dan Buckley, who is now gone, protected him by saying, like, look, we don't have anything for you to do unless you take this X-Men gig that you don't want.
Well, technically, Buckley's still there until next summer.
Yeah.
No.
So
but he's been stripped of his title.
Yeah. But the point is, like this public antagonism that Nick Lowe likes to do, that would not fly on Webtoon. That absolutely would not fly on Webtoon. He would get his butt handed to him in a bad way.
Put a squash on that shit.
Well,
dude.
Tom Brevoort loves to do it too. They all think that they're coming down like Moses from the holy mountain to tell us rubes what's what.
Like Quesada's double meeting headlines on his Substack about one more day and all that. Nope, that would not fly. Not at all.
Interesting conversation. It's actually a pretty fun episode. I enjoyed that one. But I think we've come to the end of the show. Dylan, you might have said 14 words. It felt like you weren't interested in the thing. But hopefully you did read some good comic books this week.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. We got Fury of the Firestorm #4. That continues to be pretty good. I like that. Emperor Aquaman #19. While not the biggest fan of the art right here, I'm missing John Timms. I love the way everyone talks about Aquaman in this book. It's like he's Michael Myers or something. The way people talk about him, it's great. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero 330 was pretty good. And Fire and Ice Dark Wolf #1 was pretty good. Dan Panosian writing, not even doing the art, but I enjoyed it.
I didn't check that one out. So should I check it out?
Yeah, it's good.
Well, very nice.
Oh, wow.
Very
Considering
good.
the last Fire and Ice was fucking terrible.
That's from DC
Sorry.
Comics. This is the one that's.
No, this is the
This is the Frazetta.
yeah,
Oh,
Frazetta
yeah.
stuff from Dynamite.
Sorry, I'm retarded. Don't mind.
You got any big videos people need to know about, dude?
No new videos this week, but plenty of stuff to check out for anyone who hasn't been over there.
Well, very nice. Well, definitely check out Dylan and I's rundown of the best comics by genre, and you can see Dylan absolutely lose it on me because he felt like I picked the wrong war action book as the best in the industry. You don't like Battle Beast?
No, you're like, oh, it's better than Escape. I was like, all right, have you read Escape? And you're
Oh.
like, oh, there's
Only
9
3
issues,
issues.
and I've read the first issue and the last 2, so I've read Escape. It's not how that works.
What if there might be a better book that I haven't read, period? I can only go on what I've read, dude.
No, but everyone knows Escape is great. You have everyone in your stratosphere telling you Escape is great. And you're like, no.
One person, and that's you, dude.
No, Escape is great. Escape is
You've
legit.
never said that to me, Gabe.
I've read
Dylan-
reviews about Escape.
Dylan,
I've
he
given you
watched
copies
he
of
watched the
Escape.
first 20 minutes of Escape, couldn't get into it, and
Come on.
Exactly. And I've
Let
heard,
me
put
I've heard,
it-
Jo-
let me
I've
put
heard
it-
Josh talk
it was
about how
too
good
loud.
Escape is. And he's
Escape.
been on the last couple.
Let me be very explicitly clear about this. Escape is on a whole other level than Battle Beast. It's not even close.
Jeez, you guys are way off, dude.
Battle Beast is.
oh yeah,
better than
they're way
Escape.
off. The guys that read the book.
How many issues have you read,
If
Eric?
you watch the first
I haven't read any, but I'm not out here forming an opinion on it one way or the other. But when someone tells me a book is good, I don't poo-poo it when I haven't even read it.
I haven't fucking poo-pooed it. I put it on the list. I've read
But also,
it 3 times.
You can't
What are
watch
you
like the
talking
first
about?
episode and then the last 2 episodes of like True Detective and be like, yeah, I watched True Detective. Like that's not how that
I
works.
read the fucking book.
I watched True Detective. I mean, it's not as good as the Father Dowling mysteries.
Hey, don't you down talk Father Dowling? That's not cool.
I would never speak ill of Tom. What's his
Tom
name?
Bosley.
That's
Dumb
such
Bosley.
an insane way to experience something that you say you like, to just watch the first or to read the first and then the last 2 when there's like 9 issues out.
I could have a busy life. I've got 3 kids. I have
chose
all
to
the
read
stuff.
Black
I
Cat!
have fucking-
You chose to read
read
Black
Black
Cat
Cat?
and
Escape
you
come out this week? I would have fucking read it.
there's a
Escape
bunch of
comes out
issues
of
that
the
are
movie.
out that you haven't read.
Oh my goodness.
There's plenty of issues of Escape for you to read that you have chose not to read.
I'll get to it when I get to it. You are not the boss of me. I live my life on my terms, not yours, Dylan.
That's all I'm saying. You're never gonna read it.
No, I'll get to it. All right, Gabe, what do you recommend this week, dude?
I'm pretty much aligned with Dylan on this one. So Fury Firestorm, I think I was surprised. Jeff Lemire did not do, I think, the best job starting off Absolute Flash, but Fury Firestorm has held up so far. I think pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good. Also, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, I'd still place it above the Josh Williamson G.I. Joe, so I think that's pretty solid as well. And I also still like Aquaman for what Jeremy Adams is doing with it, which is the whole point of trying to expand the character to do some different things with it. And I think he's doing a good job. He's had some meandering moments lately, but I think it's still one of the better all-in titles out there. I'll also add Starcross #1, which is the latest Mark Miller title coming out of Dark Horse. It's, if you like sort of lightweight crime thriller, in the style of Westlake with the Parker novels, but with a weird sci-fi neo 80s aesthetic, I think that's still pretty good. And as a tentative recommendation, I will say go read Absolute Batman #22, so you get an understanding of Absolute Harley, which Scott Snyder has done nothing with up until this point, pretty much. And the issue is okay. It's not terrible. It's okay. But if you're interested in Absolute Harley, that's the one to pick up. Also, of course, go to Comical Opinions. And if you're interested in my writing, my fiction writing, go to mysticstreets.substack.com. And we just published episode number 8 of the current Invisible Man series. And if you like that kind of urban gritty city type of thriller type writing with a supernatural twist, you're going to like that one as well.
Well, very, very good.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. All right, Sully, what are you recommending, dude?
Hello, I've got 6 floppies, 6 funny books, 6 endangered species, because the internet's going to put our floppy paper copies out of business one of these days, but not today. And not this past Wednesday, I got Mark Miller's Star-Crossed. I got a really nice pencil variant cover, and I like it so far. I love Mark Miller's stuff, and I will buy his books. I got Fury of Firestorm 4 of 9. Really good story, really good art. I'm really into this, and I'm very happy to have 2 DC comics this week. Emperor Aquaman by Jeremy Adams. Pretty good. Even the art, it's good. I'd rather John Timms, but so say we all, right? But it's a fun story. And there's this page where you open up, and it's all of Aquaman's bad guys all in one room, and it's really cool. Arthur's had a huge power upgrade, and I'm tuned in. I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going. Transformers 34. Wes and I were talking about this the other day. It's kind of lost a step. It really has. It focuses on like 4 different story beats, and none of them are Starscream or Megatron at this point, of whom I find the most compelling characters in the book so far. So I'm going to see where this is going. I'm going to stay tuned. G.I. Joe number 330. Again, I got a really nice Lee Weeks black and white pencil variant cover, and this is a really good book. And I love how it ties in to G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, that was published 40 years ago. Everything that's referenced in here is before, issue 20, about Dr. Venom and the brainwave scanner and all this. So this is really good. It's really deep. Larry Hama has wrote probably the majority of all the Real American Heroes. And my pick of the week is Flash Gordon, number 18 on Mad Cave. The art in this is incredible. You are sleeping on this book, aren't you? Who is buying this book besides me? There's only a couple of thousand of us, but you should be buying it. Dan Abnett took over from Jeremy Adams, is doing a wonderful job. It's a really good story, great heroes, and like I said, the art in this is really, really good. Don't sleep on this. Don't miss out. And those are my picks of the week. Thank you so very much for everyone out there in TV land. You can tune into my channel every once a week. I do a pre-recorded live from my local comic book shop once a week, and then we talk about funny books and the goings on, what's going on in our funny comics news. So come on by and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Dude,
Did
Are
you
you
say
still on vacation?
pre-recorded live as in just
Pre-recorded
a
live
video?
before a studio audience. Yeah, do a weekly comic show. Don't we all?
You still on vacation?
Yes, I'm for one more day, and then I go back to work on Monday.
Oh, very nice.
One more
Enjoy it.
day. One more day is
One more
bullshit.
day!
Yeah,
You triggered me. Oh,
converting people.
give me my It's Jeff comic. Oh, it's
All right,
Cindy.
Sparrow. Normally you recommend toys, but you're not gonna be able to show them off this week. What do you recommend?
No, I actually didn't. I went to a comic shop while I was up in Washington, but it was there was nothing there that really impressed me and grabbed my attention. And then I didn't
Not
make
Escape?
it to the.
You didn't
I, did,
pick
well, I
up
didn't.
Escape?
I didn't make it to the Wednesday, so I didn't. And I didn't know the great Escape debate was happening.
I thought that was against the law. not
until
pick
I
up
heard
Escape.
Dylan's. Well, I mean, I had to hear Dylan recommend it, and then you
Really
say, "Yeah, I
recommended
read it." And I
7
didn't
times
really-
on the show.
didn't
But
really
also,
read it at all.
Aaron doesn't read a whole lot of current comics going on. You read a ton, and you choose to read a lot of garbage.
I chose to read 2 extra issues of Escape after I decided to stop reading it, and I've decided to get into it again. Although I'm thinking about dropping it now that it's caused so much frustration in my life recently.
I feel like if you drop it, it's just going to cause more frustration because then we're going to be on it every week.
Nope.
My recommendations
Escape
this week
is the
is
devil.
I got my copy of John Byrne's Elsewhen. It's so funny that he got attacked by Heather Ontos because John Byrne is damn it, Sully, you've got Jeff in my head all the time now. I was thinking about that stupid land shark.
Yes!
So John Byrne is as lefty as Heather Ontos, so it was just so stupid that she attacked him. But it did raise a lot of awareness for a great project. This is a really great hardcover. Mine came just really pristine. I know some people like Amazon just like threw it in a bag and shipped it to them, but mine came all nicely packed in a box, so I was happy about that. So yeah, I would definitely say go out and check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting, alternate take on X-Men history. So I rather like that. And then toy wise, I finally made it up to my dad's where my my Shumagorath figure was waiting, and that thing is cool as hell. So if you like Marvel vs. Capcom or you just like Doctor Strange villains, go pick yourself up the Shumagorath figure from Marvel Legends.
Are you going to be getting the Marvel Rivals Captain America skin action figure?
Well, I mean, when they do the Rivals figures, I will. The one with the yeah, I saw that. Like he's
with junk jiggle physics.
Yeah, he's like packing some serious marble bag there. No, I'm not gonna go ahead.
I think it was magnificent. Could have seen, but magnificent.
That's not Moose Knuckle. That's the whole moose right there.
Yeah, it's like when Dylan and I were talking. It's like you can't mushroom stamp with somebody. You like whale them or something. What are you doing?
Man,
that thing?
You couldn't just stamp. You would
jaw.
You would give a man a concussion.
Exactly.
Trying to mushroom stamp with that.
Jose to B says, check out Zorro's Legacy by Dana Abbott and Aaron Lopresti. I wanted to read that. I haven't got to check it out yet because I read Escape instead. I made a huge mistake, but I definitely want to check out Zorro's Legacy. I've heard a couple good things about it, but I was excited about that one.
Well, it's got Aaron Lopresti art, so like, what more do you need?
It's got Dana Abbott, although Andy Lanning, but he's still pretty darn good. All right, Doc. Last but not least, you recommend anything this week?
I am going to recommend, first of all, that folks go and check out our review of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero 330. Because I really did like that. Now, I'm going to recommend this. I know that Aaron is not a fan of Matt Blacker. But I kind of liked Mask number 2. I thought there was a lot of action in this book. So it was much less setup than the first issue, but it managed to do a lot. I mean, a lot of action in it. So I definitely recommend checking that out. And then I am going to recommend G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero number 330. I know Sully already covered it. I went with the color cover for this. And as Aaron said, burn X-Men Elsewhere. This book is sold out basically fucking everywhere. Amazon's waiting, and they're not going to get more until I think August for it. I would not be surprised if when the book scan numbers come out on this to find out it actually outsold at what is it, $39.99, outsold whatever issue of Uncanny X-Men or X-Men came out this month. I would not be surprised to find that out.
But we had a 25,000 print run.
Yeah, I am not sure if X-Men or Uncanny X-Men are selling over 25,000 anymore.
This is also a $40 book and not a $5 floppy.
Oh, yeah.
So.
It's at $40. I'm gonna bet that it possibly outsells either of the two flagship X-Men titles at $5. But this book is really fucking good. I read it when it was in black and white, like digitally, when it was, first out. But I mean,
it looks
so much better in
paper.
color.
It doesn't have the stupid glossy like.
It is. It's like a good. It's a thick matte paper that has just enough gloss to not be reflective. It has a good texture to it. But the pages are thick.
Yeah,
so
it's archival quality.
Yes, this is an excellently prepared book. It is well worth your $40 in entertainment value alone. It's better quality than the Marvel like hardcovers that they release on a regular basis. Go get it. I don't care if it's not currently available. Place a pre-order. Tell your LCS to order it for you and grab it whenever it comes. If you don't have an LCS, order it on Amazon. You'll eventually get it, because there is no way in hell they let this book go out of print. Abrams is not Marvel, and they are not retarded. They know what they have on their hands. The numbers on this are going to end up being exceptional, and it's a very, very fun read. I can't wait until number 2 and number 3. So there we go.
Is it better than Fantastic Four Full Circle?
Yes.
Okay. That was a really
yes,
great
because it's continuing a story that, like, whereas Full Circle was kind of, it was a new story. I mean, you had to understand who the Fantastic Four were, but this is a continuation of, this is from, if it was X-Men 144.
Very, very nice. Well, that will do it for a very emotional roller coaster that this Comics Aficionados has been. People were all over the place. Threats were made. People screamed. It was a fun time. But I do need my chicken nuggies. So I'm going to bounce out of here. And it was nice seeing Perch jumped in the stream here at the end, too. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Nice.
Time to leave.